Warm, but not as warm perhaps as we thought. And in the ladies' race, in third place, and she was second last year, 2 years ago, beg your pardon, Ellie Greenwood, now back in third place, but ahead of her a long, long way to the twins, Elena and Alessia Nagalieva.
And we've heard news that Zola has moved into 7th place and is threatening 6th place and is now the second South African and looking like running around about 6.5 hours, which is incredible.
Well, Willie, Zola Budd is just the most remarkable athlete you ever saw. Now she's in the top 10 in the Comrades.
Siyabona ngaphela ukuthi intokazi laphana ngaphela nazo ziyabulalana laphana ngaphela siyayibona intokazi laphana izama ukusukela ama-twins laphana asazi ngampela ukuthi ke kuze kanika kanti le ntokazi mawuyibuka ungayibuka ngathi seyikhathele nje kanti isitayela sakhe egijima ngaso lesi iyona ndlela agijima ngayo lena hayi ukuthi sekhathele kodwa ke sisabona ukuthi laphana insizwa ngampela nazo zisadlala emlalo laphana kusekuve ngampela laphana ke akekho ngampela manje uthi hayi ngisenamandla okuya phambili kodwa kufuneka inkani manje ngampela ube nenkani siyabona ke insizwa laphana omzingi bayisukela ngampela leya insizwa akamthembu bathi hayi izabuya asingalilahli ithemba.
Or Gift Kalehe and Muzingi working together trying to hunt Mthembu down. We're just trying to get a split on the gap. But Mthembu also looking very, very strong, and it is very hard at this stage to get those legs to move because of the pounding that they've taken on all the descent. So there is an idea of the gap.
There is the gap, indeed. That's a gap. We're not quite sure what gap it is, but certainly plenty of spectator support down there. That's
it's Stephen Muzingi coming up the hill.
Second and third. Gift Kalehe is such a little guy, you can't see him behind the spectators.
Couldn't see him hidden behind the spectators, and behind them still is Porto, he's still there.
Okay, let's just summarize. If you've just joined us, fascinating, brilliant Comrades marathon. Up front, out of shot, Bongmusa Mthembu, Nedbank running first, Stephen Muzingi, Zimbabwe, and Toyota running second. Gift Kalehe, the little guy in blue, for Samenko running third, and Rufus Porto, previous gold medalist last year, in fourth place. That is the battle for the podium positions, and time will tell what will happen.
Ziyabulalana ngampela ke insizwa lapha mlaleli lapha ekhaya nawe uyabona nje ngale ukuthi ke ukutshela ukwenzeka ukuthi ngampela sokukube ngampela ke siyabona ukuthi insizwa ukuthi ke laphana elizwe lelide njalo uBongmusa lehleli lapha phambili kuze uGiftKalehe behleli nomzingi bebulalana laphana kanti siyayibona yansizwa ka40 laphana amandla siya ngokushoda manje na somkhumbula ke uMamabolo ukuthi ke uyena owayegcine ewine irace yehla siyambona number 5 laphana ngonyaka odlule wathi number 4 asazi ngampela ke ukuthi izokwenzeka kanti ke siyayibona nandi enye insizwa futhi lapha eseyiseduze nje nayo uyena ke Mamabolo oselapha eduze oyivalaye igap ngampela engitshena ukuthi umlaleli lapha ekhaya uyabona ukwenzekani kunzima ngampela ke uzoyivala igap ke siyamazi ukuthi ke njalo nje uhlale egqoke lamasokisi akhe amade.
And Mamabolo coming to the top of Huntley's Hill, the defending champion lying in 5th place now.
5th place for Ludwig Mamabolo, defending downrun champion. Of course, the defending champion from last year, Claude Mashiwa, has withdrawn from the race. We were a little bit worried about Claude's condition. He had a bit of a niggling groin injury and clearly decided that he was not competitive. So that is position 5. Ahead of him in 4th place, Rufus Porto. And these two men in 2nd and 3rd, Stephen Muzingi, Gift Kalehe, and up front still Bongmusa Mthembu.
I believe they're going to have to try and catch Mthembu on one of the big hills that lies ahead of them. They've done Huntley's Hill. There's a long, sweeping, flattening downhill section now, and then they go up 45th cutting, which is a serious challenge, and they're going to have to try and haul him back there. Fantastic support when you get there. The entire population of Durban, it seems like, is there screaming and shouting and helping you get up that hill. After that, a very steep, sharp descent, and then the climb up to Tollgate.
If I was Gift Kalehe, I would be very nervous with Stephen Muzingi next to me. Muzingi, 3-time winner, 7-time gold medalist, has got the strongest mind. He knows how to win. He knows the end of this race. So the confirm the leader now, Bongmusa Mthembu, and there is quite a lot of crowd support out there in Westville, and he hasn't got a long way to go. The 4th placed lady back in the ladies' race. There they go. That is Camille Heron. She of the strange running style and the one black glove. Not easy to kind of miss Camille Heron, but she's kept going like that all day, and she looks fine. Hey, Bruce?
She's, as you say, she's got a strange running style, but she's running well and dropping down Fields Hill.
Siyayibona ke intokazi laphana ngempela ukuthi hayi nayo ihleli lapha ephesini number 4. Le ntokazi lena siyayibona ungazi ukuthi wena hayi ilibe lapha emlezeni noma mhlambe ine injury. No, akuyona injury pha, indlela egijima ngayo lena ukuthi igijima kanjena. Ungamangali ukuthi ke izagijima mhlambe ingaqedi. No, izoqeda indlela egijima ngayo lokho. Selokhu nje isukele igijima kanjena. Siyayibona ukuthi ke isukela lama twins laba phambili ke, kodwa ke mancane ama chance ukuthi ke ingasi wathola lama twins laba phambili ke. Siyayibona insizwa egijima nayo.
Well, the Nedbank Running Club, very, very strong out there. And the first this year, we hope, is a chat with some folks out on the route. Nick Bester is out with these guys on the route. Nick Bester, what is happening on the road?
They can go next to them.
Let's try and get Nick. We'll have another crack at that. Well, Nick Bester, are you there with us out somewhere on the route?
Yeah, cut. Make him show him to come this side, Mark. Wait him this side.
Well, that is Nick Bester, clearly not talking to me. Oh, Nick Bester, if you can hear me, this is Ian in commentary. Are you able to hear me and tell us what's happening? Oh, well, we'll have another bash at that a little later. Nick Bester with lots on his mind, not the least which is this man who's leading the race.
Yeah, he'll be very busy encouraging Bongmusa at this stage, telling him he can win the race, giving him his drinks, and most importantly of all, supplying him with the vital information of what his gap is between himself and the two pursuers. And that was Nick right there handing a drink over to Bongmusa.
Okay, they're going to change sides again.
Siyayibona ke insizwa laphana ka uBongmusa Mthembu laphana ukuthi hayi uhleli lapha ephesini. Ngingakusho abantu bonke bamakhaya ukuthi kunzima ngempela pha kuBongmusa ngoba siyabona lezansizwa ezimbili uGift kanye nomzingi bayasizana lapha banikana amanzi, kanti le yansizwa laphana Mthembu uyedwa lapha phambili. Ngempela kunzima kodwa ke akusekude ngempela ukuthi ke afike laphana egcineni, sekusele nje kancane afike la izothi ke 10 km to go. Angempela ke siyayibona ke insizwa kaMzingi ukuthi iyafuna ukugashula laphana kule uGift, kodwa ke no Gift no angikudedeli ngila ezithendeni zakho, angeke ngikuyeke Mzingi ukuthi uhambe, nami ngiyafuna ukuthi ngingene laphana ongcono noma ngawu number 2, kodwa ke angilahli ithawula ngoba nawe usengaba nenkinga. Siyayibona ngempela ukuthi ziyashafula zizwa kunzima ngempela. Siyabona ukuthi uMzingi uyasebenzisa amandla no Gift uyavula igap, bashintshana, asazi ngempela izokwenzekani. Wonke umuntu uyafuna ukuyiwina le race enkulu kangaka lapha eDurban namhlanje na. Ziyabulala na ngempela bafowethu kubi.
And this is just incredible racing. Every time one of the two pursuers tries to break away, the other one latches onto his back, and the two of these runners trying as hard as they can to hunt Mthembu down. Can't overemphasize what fantastic running this is after 80 kilometers of running. Quadriceps that are really burning and in tremendous pain, the odd toenail coming off, and still they're struggling on and running very, very well.
Ngempela ke bakwethu kusenzima ngempela. Ngabe ngasho amakhaya ukuthi ke insizwa kaMthembu ihlupha iqeqeza nje yodwa lapha phambili ayisizwa umuntu. Kodwa siyabona ke ukuthi ke indawo abashiya ngayo uba leader cishe ngo2 minutes. Akulula ukuthi 2 minutes uvale noma kanjani nje, kufuneka amandla. Uzafuna ukuthi labantu abafuna ukuvala le gap aBongmusa engathi bakhuphula amasokisi, okuyinto engezuba lula ngempela, enzima ngoba phela ke usekude phambili, usafanele kusasalele mhlambe omunye u40 minutes okufanele bawugijime ukuze bafike kwifinish. Siyabona ngempela ukuthi ke njengamanje nobani ukhonsethi ukuthi awuwe ngiyafika yini phambili. Bonke abantu basemaphenini niyabona ukuthi lensizwa lezi azikhulumisani, kunzima ngempela.
And we have a 2-minute lead. So Mthembu is leading by 2 minutes, and that is a significant lead on the down run with about 12 Ks or so to go. That's a significant lead, and he doesn't look like he's tiring. These two working incredibly hard to try and catch him. But he has that lead, and if he can hang on to it, going over 45th cutting, he may indeed have the race sewn up.
Well, that will be one monstrous victory if Bongmusa Mthembu does manage to somehow hold on to the advantage that he currently has. Well, he is leading at the moment by some margin. And then, of course, back to Gift Kile and Stephen Mujengi. Rufus Porto having dropped off the pace. Ludwig Mamabolo is still lurking, currently in the top 5, and perhaps a strong finish, but maybe starting to leave it too late. I mean, just over 12 Ks to go. It's not a great deal of time, kilometre terms, to catch up, but there's always the possibility of something happening to the runners ahead of him. But whether or not it's going to happen to 4 runners is another possibility entirely. I think that is, he needs to start making a move if he is to challenge for the top place.
And you have to be closer to the action on the down run. You can't be as far back as Ludwig is, because they're not going to fall over. They're not going to tie up that badly. It's not an up run where people can start cramping really, really badly and be reduced to a walk. And our leader doesn't look as if he's about to start walking.
Very comfortable. He's looking very comfortable at the moment. This is Bongmusa Mthembu. He is leading with it's about 13 kilometers to go. I haven't seen the latest road marker. I think there might be one coming up at the moment, but Bongmusa Mthembu looking very comfortable. It's nothing wrong with the stride at all. But Bongmusa Mthembu ahead of Gift Kile and Stephen Mujengi. Rufus Porto falling down the field, still holding on to 4th currently. As 10 kilometers to go. It's the 10-kilometer mark with Bongmusa Mthembu just holding on, and in fact perhaps extending that advantage. Although in the women's race, I can tell you that the Nurgalieva twins are still leading by some significant margin. At the moment, Bongmusa Mthembu leading the men's race. Kile and Mujengi 2nd and 3rd. They're working in tandem to try and catch him. Rufus Porter dropping down the field, but he's still in a position, or in a gold medal position. But at the moment, it's more about holding on to his position. Ludwig Mamabolo is in 5th. This is with 15 kilometers to go. Nothing's changed in the order, but the times have changed, and Mthembu looks to be increasing that lead.
And I think he's looking great at this stage. He's approaching the 45th cutting, but still looking very strong. And we've seen his team coming out every few 100 meters, it seems, to give him a drink, to encourage him. He's got this race if he can just hang in now.
Siyabona ngithi akamthembu laphana ke ingikhumbuza ngezikhathi zami ngiwashana ama-stats lawa ukuthi hayi ngeke uma sekunjena ngisuke sengibulala umuntu ngampela ke njengamanje. Siyayibona ke leyansizwa ukuthi no, irelaxile, igijima kahle, kodwa ke ziyeza lezi nsizwa ezimbili lapha ngemva, umzingi kanye nogift, bamfuna la uBongumusa. Asaze ngampela ukuthi ke bayokwazini ukuthi bayivalele gap ya 2 minutes, ngoba uma sibuka njengamanje basalele nje kuphela nje u10 km nje kuphela osele manje ukuthi bafike finish lapha sikhona ke eSahara Stadium eThekwini. Sithole unumber 1 wethu ke engangabazi nakancane ukuthi ke unumber 1 wethu ufanele ukuphuma phakathi kwalensizwa zontathu zalapha ke eMzansi Afrika ke engezikukhombisa ukuthi isicoco asizuhamba siphumele ngaphandle ezweni lethu, kodwa sizobuyela lana elentweni eSouth Africa. Siyayibona ngampela ukuthi insizwa kaMthembu laphana hayi izimisele, ithi noma kanjani namhlanje na ilanga lami phela ukujabula kuyashintshana, ngelanga kube kubomunye, ngelanga kube kubomunye.
So starting 45th cutting at the moment is Bongmusa Mthembu. As we go back to the women's race, the Nurgalieva twins are still leading. The bad news for South African hopefuls is that Shane Bosman has had to withdraw from the race. She's pulled out of the race. That is currently 5th place, Irina Antropova of Russia. Young lady who, I say young lady, but in terms of Comrades experience, relatively inexperienced. She turns 32 tomorrow. She was looking for an early birthday present, but Irina Antropova, the Nedbank International Running Club, currently in 5th position in the women's race, still led by the Nurgalievas. But in terms of the men's race, I can tell you that Bongmusa Mthembu still leading with less than 10 Ks to go. This is the 4th place runner. I think Rufus Porto is still holding on to the 4th place position. Doesn't look like he's catching. There's a runner just in front of him. The Stephen Mujengi and Gift Kile currently in 2nd and 3rd, with Bongmusa Mthembu leading. It looks like the gap is around 2 minutes, 2 minutes and 3 seconds we're hearing. So Bongmusa Mthembu has got to hold on to that advantage. Whether or not he's increasing that lead at the moment, that is whether or not whether or not there's well, it is at the moment. He's increased it now to 2:36, Bruce. 2:36.
Yes, so he's going away, and he's on 45th cutting. When he gets to the top of 45th cutting, he's going to plummet down at a very steep descent down to the 7-kilometer mark.
I can tell you the big news, though, Willie, is that Jonas Budd is starting to catch up. He's 6:29 off the pace, but Jonas Budd is making his way up the field quite strongly, and he's up to 6th position overall. Now, Rufus Porto is crossing the 10 kilometers to go mark. He's down in 4th position. Well, Rufus Porter just gains a little rehydration, just getting a little water, some sachets to rehydrate. The helicopter view. And we're looking for the leading man, Bongmusa Mthembu, who's just over 2.5 minutes ahead now of second-placed Gift Kelehe. And the great story for the South Africans is the remarkable run of Zola Budd, who's currently in 7th position overall and looking very strong in her respective race. But Bongmusa Mthembu, and well inside the final 10 kilometers now, still going at a nice tempo, nice rate, going slightly uphill, but there's nothing wrong with the tempo of his race.
No, this is fine, but it is, as you can see from our graphic there, this is a hill, a significant hill at this stage, and what he's got to do is just try and plod his way to the top. Immediately after he goes over the top at 8 kilometers to go, he's got a very steep downhill where he can open up and try and widen the gap. He will cross over a timing match at 7 Ks to go, where everybody who has tuned into their loved ones will be with their cell phones will be able to get messages later on to say that they have crossed the 7 Ks to go mat. And then he will swing left up the steepest hill in the whole of the Comrades Marathon. Absolutely monstrously steep hill, but the good news is it's only 200 meters, 300 meters long, and you're onto the N3 and heading into Durban.
It's all about taking it one step at a time. Willie, did you ever find yourself talking to yourself, trying to keep yourself motivated? Because it's often lonely when you're out on the run and trying to keep yourself motivated. Did you say to yourself, take it one step at a time, or I'm going to do this, or did you set yourself little benchmarks and goals to try to achieve to keep yourself going?
Yeah, at this stage, it's very, very, very painful. As you can see that there's a lot of people on the road, which they really help you because the pain is there and the muscle, they don't want to go, but the mind, we have to be very, very strong with the mind. Siyabona ngempela ukuthi njengamanje insizwa kaMzingi iyaphula out laphana ku-Gift, iyalwa laphana. Sakhumbula ukuthi ke uMzingi lapha egijima khona fast, lapho khona ashaya liyatsezwakale u-Chetov ezowina umjaho ewakade kuyi-down run. uMzingi siyamazi ukuthi ke i-down run uyayigijima ugood futhi kuyona, kodwa asazi noma uzokwazi yini ukuyithola lensizwa kaMthembu, ngoba lensizwa kaMthembu siyabona igap ivule ngaphezulu kwa-2 minutes, ongena ukuthi uvaleke noma ikanjani. Asazi ngempela ukuzokwenzekani-ke, kodwa siyabona ukuthi hayi-ke i-top 10 sesiyayibona ukuthi hayi akusekude ukuthi-ke insizwa zifinishe, seyinika eduze. Siyambona-ke umfowamabolo laphana-ke evala igap laphana kuleya nsizwa laphana efuna ukuthatha u-4th position. Asazi ngempela ukuthi sezekani-ke insizwa siyabona ukuthi ziyashintsha laphana izinto, asazi ukuthi zikwenzekani-ke ngempela kusekude. Siyabona-ke nango uGift laphana naye eza laphana ngempela ama-position ayashintsha, asazi ukuthi kuzokwenzekani-ke. Kunzima bakwethu ngempela njengoba laphana zisuka kude phela eMaritzburg.
Well, this is just changing remarkably. Ludwig Mamabolo has gone from 5th position to 2nd within a few hundred meters. He has passed Rufus Porto, he has passed Gift Kelehe, who Stephen Mujingi's dropped, and Gift is now dropping back off the pace of Rufus Porto himself. But Ludwig Mamabolo, Bruce, has just come out of nowhere, 5th position, and you said he needed to make a move. That ultimately he's made a huge move. Now his next goal, his next aim, the focus would be to catch Bongmusa Mthembu.
This should be the 9 kilometer to go board, and I can honestly say I don't think I've ever seen a Comrades marathon like this with such exciting racing at the end, and the positions changing hand every few hundred meters.
Well, Willie, you look at the time now, we're nearly at 5 hours, and inside the final 9 minutes, we're going to see a sub-5:30 marathon here, Comrades marathon, do you think?
Yeah, they are very, very, very close to the finish now. It's only about 9 Ks to go. And siyabona ukuthi-ke ama-position ayashintsha bakwethu lapha emakhaya, njengoba ngike ngasho ukuthi kuyashintshwa-shintshwana laphana ngempela, kuyafayithwa, kuyaliwa. siyabona-ke insizwa abadilidi laphana-ke umfoka Mamabolo uyena ole number 2. Nazo-ke intokazi laphana ngampela siyabona-ke elinye i-twins liyawalker, asazi ngampela ukuthi-ke kunakelephi-ke ama-twins-ke nawo ayalwa lana alona position ngampela-ke asazi ukuthi kuzokwenzekani-ke zikhuphuka khona lapha ekhawazini zisandudlula nje phakathi town. Le hili siyayazi ukuthi-ke yiyona lapho kufuneke kuhlukane khona lapha ngampela ukuthi-ke ubani o-strong ubani onge-strong, kodwa ama-twins ngicama ukuthi leli elihamba phambili yilona elizowina leli number 2.
So Elena Nurgalieva currently leading, but Olesia having for a moment stopped, paused, started to walk for a little bit, and now she's got back into the stride. But at Cowie's Hill, it's really separated the twins here. Elena Nurgalieva currently leading in the women's race, but her twin sisters just dropped off the pace slightly. So Olesia Nurgalieva is struggling in this down run. It's Cowie's Hill that looks to have broken her ever so slightly, but Elena Nurgalieva leading with just under 5 hours gone in this Comrades Marathon. That's Olesia coming through, currently second in the women's race. Elena Nurgalieva leading. Up front in the men's race is where all the action is happening. Bongmusa Mthembu currently leading. Ludwig Mamabolo has made a remarkable move from 5th position up to 2nd position in what was the space of a few hundred meters. He managed to catch Rufus Porto, he managed to catch Gift Gele and pass Stephen Muzingi all in one go. But certainly in terms of moves being made, Mamabolo made a startling move, but he's still got to catch this man, the current leader, Bongmusa Mthembu.
And he's gone over the top of 45th cutting and now heading down. Very steep drop down to the bottom of Mayville, and then a left turn up that very steep road and onto the highway.
Well, I can confirm that we've got Nick Bester on the line currently. Nick, can you hear us?
Yes, I hear very clearly.
Okay, Nick, take us through what's happening with your runners up front.
Well, it's very exciting. We're just going down the other side of 45th cutting. We're going to turn left here. We're with Bongmusa Mthembu. He's just running stronger and stronger. We're going to just turn left at this nasty little hill before you hit Tollgate. And this man is not going to be beaten today.
So, Nick Bester, you reckon that Bongmusa Mthembu is looking far too good for any runner to catch him in the last 7Ks?
Well, he's running, last 15 Ks, he's just keeping his stride. He's still looking as strong. He's taking on a lot of cooling himself down with a lot of cold water. He's running through the showers next to the road. So you can still see he's thinking on his feet, although he's very tired. And he's got one hill to go, and that is Tollgate.
So one hill to go, it's not going to break him. And Ludwig Mamabolo has made a remarkable move up the field, but I think is still at 2.5 odd minutes off the pace. In terms of Mthembu, you still believe, as he's heading up now, the final sweep left, it looks like he's not going to get caught.
This is the steepest hill in Holland.
Yes, it's very steep. But, we all know that Ludwig Mamabolo is the defending jam champion. And also the previous 2012, he came back very strongly at a finish. So let's see what happens. Maybe the two neckband Green Dream athletes will give us a show in the last kilometre and have a nice big dive for victory.
Well, he's just managed to pass over the 5-hour mark. But Nick, in terms of Ludwig, what are your hopes and expectations of Ludwig, Bongmusa Mthembu aside?
Well, Ludwig was struggling down Cowie's Hill, and he told us that his squat is taking a hammering. And luckily that was the last very steep downhill, and it looks like on the flat he recovered a bit. And I told him he's a champion, he must fight for till the end, and that is what he's doing. So the two of them are very strong. Both of them are very strong in the head. It will be very interesting to see if they come together who's going to take the victory. But Bongmusa is looking great. He tells victory. Bongmusa is looking great.
Who's got the stronger finish, do you think, should it come down to a final chase over the last kilometre?
Ludwig showed a lot of speed in his training. He ran a 31 kilometre 4 weeks before Comrades and a 72 half marathon. So he's got the speed if he's come to the showdown in the last kilometre to beat Bongmusa. But he still has to catch it.
Well, Nick Bester, best of luck to you and your athletes. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Well, Nick Bester, team manager of the Nedbank running group. At the moment, the top two runners, Nedbank athletes, Bongmusa Mthembu leading just over the 5-hour mark. and looking very strong, constantly rehydrating, running through the showers, using the water sachets, and never losing tempo, Willie. He is looking so good at the moment. And Nick Bester, his manager, saying he doesn't believe he's going to be caught, not even by somebody with the strong finish of a Ludwig Mamabolo.
Yes, I agree with Nick. Ludwig, if you want to catch Bongmusa, you will have to run very, very, very hard to catch Bongmusa, because we see that Bongmusa is still looking very strong. He's on top of the hill now. He only got one hill to go. After that, he'll be down and then flat to the finish. Siyabonga phela ukuthi ke into sezishintshile laphana ngoba ngeke ngasho ukuthi kuyashintshwana. Umzingi laphana usele ngaphela ebengithi uyena umuntu ozoba ingozi kakhulu lapha kuBongumusa, kanti insizwe esiyibona laphana idla ngaphela ezithendeni zakhe uBongumusa. uLudwig siyamkhumbula kuLudwig ukuthi eneke uyena owagcina ewine i-down run, ufuna ukusibuyisa isiqoqo sakhe. Sizokhumbula ke futhi ukuthi ke uLudwig uyena owabu number 1 begcina kwi-down run, uBongumusa owawu number 2. Kodwa namhlanje emlaleli lapha ekhaya engathi into ziyashintsha, number 1 uyena ozoba 2, number 2 abu number 1, okuyinto ehle kakhulu lapha ke ngoba phela isiqoqo sizosala lapha eSouth Africa, and uma ngase sisale lapha kwaZulu Natal kungaba inhle kakhulu ke. Uma sibuye lapha kwewesifazane siyabona ke insizwa intokazi lapha yama twins iloko elide njalo, kanti udadewabo uyeza nayo lapha. Le ntokazi ngakusho lapho umlaleli emakhaya ukuthi ke babheke khona lapha eWestville, nabo basalele amakhilometer bacishe basalele u15 kilometers to go. Siyayibona ke insizwa lapha ke enye laphana ke ihleli laphana kwesifazane nayo iyeza laphana uluzi komdedelwa naye obekade laphana ecampaign kaWilliam Tolo eUnderberg. Siyayibona intokazi laphana ke nayo ukuthi cha iyalwa ngempela nayo laphana, ithi no ngiyaya phambili. Udadewethu uma ngabe nenkinga akusho ngimlinde naye akazilwele ngoba nobani iqoqo liyazigxumela.
Thoroughly experienced Comrades runner Elena Nurgalieva has left Olesia behind. She struggled a little up Cowie's Hill, but a thoroughly exciting men's race developing as well. We'll have the finish in certainly under half an hour's time. We'll go to a quick break. When we come back, great coverage of the 2014 Comrades Marathon to come.
Alan Robb's 1978 down run record of 5 hours, 29 minutes, 14 seconds remains in the top 10 best times ever run from Pietermaritzburg to Durban. Comrades winner 4 times and race finisher 40 times. The ultra-ordinary Alan Robb.
When you color your hair a lot, you need a color that cares a lot about your hair.
New Excellence Hair Color from L'Oreal. Exclusive triple care cream for triple rich color. Ceramides protect. Pro-Keratin strengthens. Collagen replenishes.
My hair is healthier than ever, so my color is opulent, radiant. And grays? What grays?
New Excellence from L'Oreal Paris. Triple care cream, triple rich color.
We're worth it.
When finished becomes finish, and could do becomes just did. This is the moment. It's why you run.
Ellie Greenwood, third-placed woman in the ladies' race, up at the top of Cowie's Hill. Ahead of her, 2 Nagalievas. One Nagalieva, Elena, going well. Another Nagalieva, Alesia, not so well.
Elena Nagalieva wat baie goed hardloop op die oomblik. Alesia wat nie by haar suster kan bly op die oomblik nie. Ellie Greenwood wat gewoonlik baie vinnig eindig in die wedloop. So moet kyk of sy een ten minste van die Nagalievas kan vang. En ons kyk weer hier na die prentjies van ons helikopter af. Daar's Ellie Greenwood in die 3de posisie op die oomblik in die vroue wedloop.
The last down run, Ellie was walking here, so she's a lot stronger this year, and who knows, she may be able to close that gap, though we understand it is about 8 minutes or so.
Big gap now, so it looks like Ellie could be fated to finish in the second place as she did last time. 5 hours and 7 minutes, and now we're into the final stages.
And this is the men's race. Bongmusa coming to the top of the final climb of the Comrades Marathon, Tollgate Hill. When he goes under that half-moon bridge that we can see, when he goes under there, he will have 5 kilometers to run, and it is all downhill of flat. This is the last hill, and I think if he gets to this landmark now in the lead, he's not going to be caught.
Bongmusa Mthembu wat hou van die afwedloop. Hy het 7 medaljes in die Comrades marathon, waarvan 3 goues is, en al 3 die goue medaljes van die laaste 3 afwedlope. So hy is 'n man vir die afdraandes. Hou nie baie van die bult op die oomblik, dink ek nie, maar hy is so wat 4 minute en 30 sekondes voor die tweede plek, Ludwig Mamabolo. Nie ver om te gaan nie nou vir Bongmusa Mthembu. Baie metronomies op die oomblik. Hy hou daai pas, en as hy so kan aanhou tot die einde, lyk dit vir my, kyk ons hier na die wenner.
And now he's going to get a beautiful view of the Indian Ocean as he comes over the crest of this hill. He's running down what we call the concrete canyons. The concrete canyons of the walls of the highway on each side of you. It is very difficult running. No crowd support except for those people standing on the bridges above you, so the noise is booming down at you from the people on the bridges overhead, and you run between these canyons of concrete. It is very hot. The sun reflects off the tar beneath you, but the one good thing is downhill and flat all the way to the finish.
Rufus Poto wat lyk of hy die tweede wind gekry het. Hy is op die hakke van Steven Muzingi. Muzingi op die oomblik in die 3de plek, Poto in die 4de plek, maar dit lyk of dit besig is om te verander. Rufus Poto, Steven Muzingi, hier is die bekleierheid tussen hulle twee vir die 3de plek.
Amazing how this race has chopped and changed. Been an absolutely fascinating race. And a little while back in Westville, we thought that Rufus Poto would run out of steam, but clearly he's got a second win, and now he's up with Muzingi. So Gift Kalehe, on the other hand, was going really well. He seems to have dropped back into 5th place. So that's 3rd and 4th. Fascinating competition. Bongmusa Mthembu way ahead. Ludwig Mamabolo 3rd. And there's Muzingi and Poto for 3rd and 4th and 5th. And Gift Kalehe in the 6th place. So that looks like the golds, or at least the top 6 golds are settled.
Die geveg hier vir die 3de plek. Net weer herinner, we kan 'n Toyota Corolla Quest wen en die Toyota Mamabolo wen 'n kar kompetisie. Slegs die SMS die woord Toyota na 340682 en my Toyota Corolla Quest kan jou nie wees.
Well, Nick Bester was saying earlier that Bongmusa Mthembu has been drinking and keeping himself well hydrated, obviously from his seconding team, and that's helped him. And I think Bongmusa Mthembu has finally reached the level where he can win the race. He's been there or thereabouts for many years now, and he's finally stepped up to the top of the podium, at least at this stage. And now Rufus Poto is the man with a slightly stronger finish. Ludwig Mamabolo, of course, in 2nd place, ahead of these two. It's now running down to Durban, and Bruce, I can see the crowds picking up, so maybe it's a bit more festive.
It is until just after Tollgate, as I said. Unfortunately, there are no people down there, there are no crowds down there. But as you come off the end of the concrete canyons, you pop into Durban, heading down the main road, and that is incredible crowd support with 2 kilometers to go.
So it looks like we could have another South African winner on the down run. The South African men tend to do better on the down run, relatively speaking, than the foreign runners. And Ludwig Mamabolo, of course, the winner 2 years ago, and now Bongmusa making a crack at it this year. In the women's race, Elena Nagalieva is well ahead. Her sister Alessia, a little while back, was 2nd but struggling. Ellie Greenwood closing down. Irina Antropova, Camille Herron, and Zola Peterson now is the top South African runner, with Shane Bosman out of the race.
Wel, as dit so bly, gaan ons nie 'n Suid-Afrikaanse wenner hê nie. Ons gaan 'n Suid-Afrikaanse 1, 2 en 3 hê. As Rufus Poto hier voor Steven Muzingi kan bly, natuurlik Gift Kalehe ook van Suid-Afrika. Hy is op die oomblik 5de. DC Mkhize in die 6de plek, het ook van Suid-Afrika. So die Suid-Afrikaners wat baie goed doen op die afwedloop. Eerste plek op die oomblik, soos ons gesê het, Bongmusa Mthembu. Ludwig Mamabolo, die verdedigende afhardloopkampioen, in die 2de plek. Rufus Poto 3de, al 3 van Suid-Afrika. Bruce, when's the last time we had top 3 South Africans?
I can't remember. I can't think. It's a fantastic race for South Africa today.
So we're now looking for the 2nd place runner. Remember, the battle now for the first 2 places is between Bongmusa Mthembu. There he is, running down the concrete canyons, or down from the Berea, down to the Durban kind of beachfront. And behind him, somewhere, is Ludwig Mamabolo, the defending downrun champion. 5 hours, 12 minutes gone on that lead clock. So now it's very much a case of hanging in.
It's a long hang-in now. He's probably got about 3.5, 4 kilometers to go, running downhill and approaching the road that will take him into the middle of Durban. And then it's a 2-kilometer run through the city, and then a left turn to the stadium.
Ludwig Mamabolo daar in die tweede plek op die oomblik. Hy jaag vir Bongmusa Mthembu, maar ons laaste kyk het was hy so 4,5 minute agter Mthembu. So ek dink nie hy gaan vir Mthembu vang nie. Hy hang nou aan hier vir die tweede plek. Agter hom Steven Mzingi en Rufus Poto wat sopas van Mzingi verbygevat het. En hulle kyk of hulle naby Ludwig Mamabolo kan kom vir daardie tweede plek.
He's just reaching the top of the climb to Tollgate, so I think Mthembu's got this race. He's got it sewn up. Unless he cramps, and of course you can never be sure in the Comrades Marathon. The first time you know you've won is when you feel the tape break against your chest. Up until then, you can never be too sure that you've won the race.
So looking at the second half of the golds, Gift Kalehe and Kiza, Jonas Budd back in the golds. Prodigal Kamolo's up there, and Mafakani. Now, there are a couple of names that we didn't see earlier, Mafakani and Budd.
That's always a feature of the race, Ian. The people who have a canny race and hang back a lot, they're not going to get a lot of TV coverage in the first half and for the first 5 hours or so, but then they pop into the top 10 positions when the race falls into place in the last 5 or 6 kilometers.
Nog 'n naam daarin is DC Mkhize, die huidige 6de plek atleet, wat ook asof van nêrens af gekom het in die top 10 in die Jonas Budd op die oomblik 7de, Prodigal Kamalo 8ste soos jy gesê het, en dan Makofane in die 9de plek, en op die oomblik die 10de atleet is William Mokwala ook van Suid-Afrika. Daar's die top 10 atlete op die oomblik, natuurlik nog so 'n paar kilometer om te gaan. And Bruce, you said this was easy. It's like a 5K club run, this last bit.
This is the bit when you say to yourself, I just have my 5K club run to go. But of course it's not easy. You're looking down the road, looking for the next distance marker, and getting angry when you don't see it after going around a bend, and counting down and looking down, then not looking up again for a while, because the distance sign is getting no nearer, and the sea is getting no nearer. And you go through all sorts of tricks to try and get the distance done.
I think the key to this situation now is he's got a over 4-minute lead, and that is unassailable unless a real big cramp or something happens, and he's smart enough to know that not to do that, see the cramps coming, but with a 4-minute lead going down Berea Road, it's game over, Bruce.
Yeah, the only problem is that he won't have his team with him now, because they're not able to get to him to give him advice and to second him, so he's going to have to do this on his own, as is Mamabolo here, who looks like he's heading for a second place.
Ludwig Mamabolo op pad na die stadion, maar ons gaan nou eers terug na die vroue wedloop toe. Elena Nurgalieva nog steeds in die voortou daar is Olisia Nurgalieva. En het laaste ons kyk het was sy in die tweede plek, Olisia Nurgalieva. Nie op die oomblik seker of Elena nog voor haar is nie, sy behoort te wees, maar dit is die ander Nurgalieva tweeling, nie Elena Nurgalieva nie.
So Olisia not in sight. Not surprising really, Olesia's been really out of racing. Now, let's just have a look there. That is Olisia, in fact. And, having troubles, as we thought earlier on there. We're back with the second woman. Beg your pardon, that is the second lady. That's exactly where we are, back with the second lady. Looking back, where's Ellie Greenwood? She wants to know that. We'd also like to know that. So she's now just hanging in there for second place. What a bad day she's having.
And don't believe it, but we could be having as exciting a race in the ladies' race as we've had in the men's race.
Olisia Nurgalieva wat hier loop, sy en haar suster Elena het meeste van die wedloop saam gehardloop, maar Elena het op die stadion baie sterker begin hardloop as Olisia Nurgalieva wat lyk of sy op die oomblik sukkel. Ellie Greenwood wat haar jaag, maar dit lyk tog of dit Elena Nurgalieva is wat agter haar is. Olisia is die voorloper op die oomblik. Elena Nurgalieva moes op die stadion gestop het of begin loop het, maar die Nurgalieva sisters wat lyk of hulle bietjie sukkel op die oomblik, Bruce.
Well, the pace they ran in the beginning was very fast. That to establish that 8-minute lead, they had to go very quickly. It's quite an incredible sight to see both of them walking.
This Comrades Marathon has been absolutely amazing in terms of the drama, the chopping and the changing. And while we were with the men, clearly what happened was that Elena got into trouble, and Olisia, who was earlier in trouble, went past. Didn't see that, but now they are still 1 and 2, or 2 and 1, depending on which way. Ellie Greenwood, we don't know where she is, but now there's walking again. So who knows? It's got a long way to go. How far to go, Bruce?
This is about 13 kilometers ago. This is a hill that very few runners know. It's Huntley's Hill. The old-timers will tell you it's not mentioned when people talk about the race, but Huntley's, as you can see, takes its toll. And the worrying thing for both these runners is they still have to do 45th cutting. They still have to do Tollgate Hill, and it would be fascinating to know how far behind Ellie Greenwood is now.
Well, if you're Ellie Greenwood, you're really hoping that your supporters in seconds are telling you this to give you that extra boost of energy. En Alicia Nurkaliyeva wat hier sukkel agter haar suster Elena Nurkaliyeva wat reeds 8 keer hierdie wedloop gewen het. Ellie Greenwood was so wat 8 minute agter hierdie twee voorlopers en kan sy 8 minute toemaak in die tyd wat sy oor het.
What a dramatic Comrades marathon. And Alicia Nurkaliyeva going really slowly. And if I were Ellie Greenwood, I would be jumping around with excitement, because if she's in any sort of shape, she could hunt these two down with a long, long way to go.
She could indeed, Ian, and I saw Alicia just shortly a few moments ago slapping the top of her thighs, which means she's probably cramping in her quadriceps, and I can tell you that is not a pleasant experience. Makes it very hard to run and very hard to take a decent stride.
Well, we're not forgetting about the men's race. Bongmusa Mthembu heading down into central Durban. But we'll just wait for a little bit of drama to play out here with the women's race. Walking again, Alessia, Elena behind her. It's there they go. And the women's race is just as dramatic as the men's. My goodness me. But let's not forget that Bongmusa Mthembu with Ludwig Mamabolo in hot pursuit are heading down towards the Shera to finish.
Well, what's happening now to the Nurkaliyeva twins is something that Bongmusa Mthembu has been trying to guard against. He's been keeping himself hydrated, keeping his legs wet, and there he's still going very well. Bongmusa Mthembu, die voorloper in die manswedloop, hy kan nou, hy sê ek is so wat 8 minute van die stadion af, en net die laaste deel vir Bongmusa Mthembu om nou te gaan.
He's got about 2.5 kilometers to run. This straight right through the middle of Durban is just never ending when you're coming to the end of the Comrades Marathon. I think it's about 10 sets of traffic lights. I tried to count them the last time I ran the down run, and they go on forever. But at the end of this straight, he will swing left and head towards Kingsmead. The moment he turns left, he has exactly 1,000 meters to go. And he is well clear of Mamabolo now. So I think we're looking at Bongmusa Mthembu as the winner of the 2014 Comrades Marathon, with Ludwig Mamabolo, the defending champion from the last down run, looking as if he's going to get the second place.
Daar was Ludwig Mamabolo in beeld. Ons is nou terug by Bongmusa Mthembu, die skare langs die pad, en ek kan ook vir julle sê die skare hier by Kingsmead Stadion, Sahara Cricket Stadion, is reg om vir Bongmusa Mthembu te ontvang. Daar weer die voorloper in die vroue wedloop, Alicia Nurkaliyeva en Bongmusa Mthembu, die twee voorlopers in die mans en vroue wedloop daar op die skerm. En al twee van hulle lyk op die oomblik bietjie meer gemaklik. Nurkaliyeva wat nog 'n paar probleme gehad het, maar sy hardloop nou weer. Sy het geloop so wat 2-3 minute gelede, maar Bongmusa Mthembu, die voorloper in die mans wedloop, and Bruce, unless something really bad happens, he's got this sewn up.
It's not going to at this stage. He's just got to be patient and just bring it in, wind it in, as we say. When he turns left, he'll be looking ahead, looking for the person holding the winner's baton. And the winner of the men's race always carries a baton, within it a message from the mayor of the one city, Pietermaritzburg, to the mayor of the other city, Durban. And I can tell you that that is one of the greatest moments in running, to take that baton. It just is like a magic wand. It makes your whole body feel so strong. You float around the last lap.
They're the leaders, and a little smile for the camera, so he's looking quite happy. Second place, Ludwig Mamabolo. 2 years ago, he was in pole position running down here, and he had that rather awful 9 months of backwards and forwardsing with his doping situation, which eventually was overturned. So he was, in fact, given the first place. And I guess Ludwig won't be too unhappy with second place. It would have been nice to get first, but he was up in the golds last year. So one of the most consistent runners in the last few years in the Comrades Marathon.
Yeah, and to give you an idea of the gap between him and Mthembu, he's not in Durban city yet, Mthembu is, and that gives you a very good idea of how far ahead the race leader is, and we're with the race leader now.
Mamabolo was so wat 4 minute 30 agter Bongmusa Mthembu met 7 km om te gaan, en ek dink Mthembu het daardie gaping dalk selfs groter gemaak in die laaste 7 km. Bongmusa Mthembu, die einde is nou in sig vir hom, die skare langs die pad wat hom aanmoedig. Hulle weet, hulle kyk na die Comrades wenner op hierdie stadion.
So we're moving down through the centre of Durban. He will make a left turn a little bit later on past the Hilton Hotel and into Sahara Kingsmead Stadium, which is now looking full of people, colourful, and you'll have a shot of that a little bit later on. It's they're really, I think that looking at the time now, 5:22, obviously not a course record, obviously that's gone, but just to put that into perspective, the course record of Leonid Svetsov, just a few seconds over 5 hours, and Ludwig, beg your pardon, Bongmusa, still quite a long way to go, so that's just how good Svetsov's record is.
5 hours and 20 minutes, and so that record is still safe. But he is probably going to dip under 5.5 hours. And last down run, Mamabolo won with a 5:31.
So 5:30 very much the cut-off. There's Mamabolo in second place. And Alessia back running again. Arno, looks like she's got a second win or a third win.
Ja, Alessia Nurgaleva wat geloop het so 5 minute gelede. Sy is weer aan die gang op die oomblik. Weet nie op die oomblik waar haar suster Elena Nurgaleva is nie. Ellie Greenwood in die derde plek was so wat 8 minute agter die Nurgaleva tweeling, maar kyk net vir Bongmusa Mthembu, die was Ludwig Mamabolo daar aan die linkerkant, hy is nog baie gemaklik, hy waai vir die skare, en ek dink hy het nou besluit, tweede plek is syne, en ergens voor hom op die pad is Bongmusa Mthembu, wat lyk of hy hierdie jaar sy Comrades wedloop gaan wen. Ludwig Mamabolo, die tweede plek atleet, wat ook baie gemaklik lyk hier.
And now Mamabolo's in Durban City, but still too far behind to make any difference to the winning position. Mthembu is going to win the 2014 Comrades.
Ek het op die oomblik dus so wat 28 grade Celsius nou hier in Durban, so redelik warm vir hierdie atlete, en ek kry amper die ander atlete wat bietjie later gaan inkom, nog jammer, want dit gaan op na 31 grade toe, so baie goeie weer, bietjie bewolk in Durban, en 28 grade Celsius, soos die atlete in die stadion inkom. Alessia Nurgaleva aan die regterkant daar, lyk nog steeds op sy sukkel, maar Bongmusa Mthembu, geen sulke probleme nie, hy gaan nou links draai na die stadion toe, en Bongmusa Mthembu gaan die Comrades Marathon wen.
And he has exactly 1,000 meters, and not to the entrance of Kingsmead, but to the finish line. And so he will not see another distance marker. He's seen the last one, and for the runners later on today, that is the happiest distance marker you can see in the whole of the race.
And this is where you just savor the moment, you savor the victory. You worked so long, you got a bunch of gold medals, you've always been out of the picture, and he turns, that's Mamabolo, back to second place. But Bongmusa Mthembu will be up into the reach of our cameras here to finish in a short time. He's passing the Hilton Hotel, great big landmark in the center of Durban. And there's a little dog leg in between the various buildings here at the Kingsmead Stadium, and he will make a turn into that and then hit the grass, the blessed, lovely underfoot grass of Kingsmead.
And he's passing the expo where seemingly 3 weeks ago, but probably a day or two ago, he would picked up his number, his goodie bag, and he would have confirmed his entry into the Comrades Marathon. He's passing that landmark, and he now knows he probably has about 500-600 meters to go, including that wonderful 350-400 meters around this track here at Kingsmead.
Bruce, what's it like feeling when you get that mayor's message, and we'll see it when he comes onto the grass handed to you?
I can't describe it. As I said earlier, it's like a magic wand. No matter how tired you are, when you grab that thing, all the fatigue drains out of your body, and you float around that last lap, and you try and savor it and keep it so that you can remember it for the rest of your life. And the feeling of hitting the tape is also just indescribable. And it's, of course, a fantastic honor to lead the Comrades Marathon home, to be the first person home and to open the door of the finishers that day.
Die skare hier by Kingsmead Sahara Cricket Stadion wat baie opgewonde begin raak. Hulle kan ook die beeld sien wat u kan sien by die huis, en hulle weet Bongmusa Mthembu is reg buite die stadion. Hy gaan binnekort in die stadion indraai, en natuurlik die boodskap kry van die burgemeester van Pietermaritzburg aan die burgemeester van Durban. En Bongmusa Mthembu, nie ver om te gaan nou vir hom nie. Hy's net buite die stadion, so wat 500 meter om te gaan voor Bongmusa Mthembu, die wenner van Comrades 2014 gaan wees.
He knows he's won it. He knows he's won it. I can tell you there'll be tears in his eyes now. He'll have a lump in his throat, tear in his eye, and think, I don't believe it. All those months of training, all those years of dreaming, and here it comes. And I hope he's savoring the moment and keeping it for himself for the rest of his life.
He looks very comfortable. I must say he has the whole way. He's never looked in any sort of trouble. He's he put up a big lead back in Westville. He's held it, and now into the cricket stadium, better known perhaps for a different sort of sport, but today it all belongs to road running and the Comrades Marathon. There it is. Oh, there's the flower. Bruce, what's
he dropped the baton. Oh no, he dropped the baton. Oh, they've got it.
Okay, that's the message in that little black cylinder, and he'll come out and he will hear a roar from this crowd. I don't know how many thousand people have packed into Kingsmead Stadium, and it's grass under your feet at last.
Ja, Bongmusa Mthembu breathing a sigh of relief to feel that grass. Hy het op hier in die stadion, die skare wat hom nou aanmoedig, die laaste paar meter wat hy nog moet aflê. Hy het vir 8 jaar in die Comrades Marathon deelgeneem. Verlede jaar nie eens klaar gemaak nie, maar hierdie keer is hy die wenner van die Comrades Marathon.
And under the spectator bridges, occasionally you think it's the final finishing area, but it isn't. Under the spectator bridges, and then you turn left, and this most wonderful finishing straight ahead of you, possibly with your family members and your loved ones waiting to greet you. And one of the greatest sights ever for a Comrades Marathon runner, to turn into the finish straight. And here he goes, he'll be finishing just in front of us. The greatest moment of Comrades, the final 75 meters.
Round he comes, the winner of the 2014 Comrades Marathon, the 89th runner. Paul Rowan was the first one. Bongmusa Mthembu wins this year for the Nedbank Club. 5 hours, 28.5 minutes. That was a fantastic run by him.
And a very well-timed run as well. He never looked in any trouble, like you said, Ian. En Bongmusa Mthembu wat hier geluk gewens word. Nick Bester wat hom gehelp het, deelpad deur is Willie Matolo wat hom daar geluk wens. En Willie Matolo ken vir Bongmusa Mthembu natuurlik baie goed. Hulle oefen saam. En uitstekende wedloop daar deur Bongmusa Mthembu.
Welcome to the Winners Club, Bongmusa Mthembu. You're a worthy winner, and you can see, of course, that these great athletes are able to disguise fatigue, but when they cross the line, the fatigue sets in, and the emotional welcome when you finish is just so overwhelming, and you can see he can't believe it, just lying there feeling the grass of Kingsmead. He's done it.
Well, let's hope he can get up, because we have Peter de Beely on the finish line that would like to work with him, a word with him, but sometimes maybe the body dictates rather than the mind, and let's wait and see. But that is the scene at Kingsmead, and Ludwig Mamabolo still in second place, quite a long way to go, and we'll see what happens. I think it's just emotional.
It is, but it's also fatigue, because you've had to fight it for so long and drive yourself on. Well done to him for winning, and also well done for joining the group of runners who've broken 5.5 hours.
Bongmusa Mthembu wat die emosies daar laat gaan. Hy lê en huil daar op die gras van Kingsmead se Hara Cricket Stadion. Sy wentyd 5 ure 28 minute 34 sekondes. Dis 3 minute 41 minute per kilometer vir die wat van daardie tipe statistieke hou. Maar op die oomblik gaan dit net oor die emosie wat Bongmusa Mthembu voel op die wenstreep van die Comrades Marathon.
Well, Ludwig Mamabolo, he was first, and now he's second. First was 2 years ago, and now second on the down run. And he looks really full of running and very, very excited. And I think that's fantastic. I think that's a great run by him. And he's just proved that without a shadow of doubt, he's, with a couple of other guys, arguably the strongest runner in the last 5 years in the Comrades Marathon.
He got a first, a fourth last year, and now a second. His pedigree is unquestioned.
Well, I think other than Bongmusa Mthembu, Nick Bester probably the happiest guy in the world at the moment. Nick Bester se 2 atlete wat hier eerste en tweede inkom van die Nedbank Atletiek Club, Bongmusa Mthembu, en hier kyk ons na die baie gelukkige Ludwig Mamabolo. Hy het uitstekende wedloop ook gehardloop, vinnig geëindig, nie genoeg om sy spanmaat te vang nie, maar hy geniet op die oomblik net die skare hier langs die pad.
Well, we don't know exactly what's happened behind him, but there's still maybe a little bit of drama to play out in the golds, of that I am certain. But in the women's race, we had Olesya Nagalieva in the lead. It's apparently, word is that Elaine is caught up with her again. So this has been a roller coaster type of Comrades. So, Bruce, but let's just give all credit here to Ludwig Mamabolo, and of course his namesake Titus Mamabolo, one of the great distance runners in the history of South Africa, great runner, now retired. Ludwig picked up the mantle of the Mamabolo family, and now he runs onto the grass in second spot.
He always finishes with a smile on his face. Last year he had a huge smile on his face, waving at the crowd and enjoying himself, and showing just how strong he is.
Ludwig Mamabolo, hy lyk of hy glad nie 90 km amper gehardloop het nie, maar of hy net om die blok gehardloop het, maar ek is seker as hy stop na daardie eindstreep, gaan hy ook die moegheid voel in sy bene, maar Ludwig Mamabolo wat op die oomblik vir die skare 'n redelike goeie show gee hierso as hy inkom in die stadion.
He's really having a ball. This is fun. He's having an absolute ball out there. And I really don't blame him because this was a great performance. Ludwig Mamabolo, quite a showman. In the interview earlier this week, he was very quiet, very determined, very confident. And right now it's all exuberance and happiness. And second place is fantastic. Bruce, you came second. What?
I've been second in the stadium to Alan Robb. Of course, it's a wonderful position, and it's great to do that. But you do feel slightly, you spend the next 365 days thinking about how you could have won it.
Well, I wonder, Ludwig Mamabolo, I mean, with that surge he put in at the end, he might be wondering for 365 days if he didn't surge too late, because he still seems to have a lot left in his legs.
A lot more left in him than the champion. Oh, yeah, definitely.
Well, he's not there yet. Or is he? Oh, he is. That's the crossing line. Sometimes the match a bit before. And he looks really strong. And they're the first two, the Nedbank men, Bongmusa Mthembu and Ludwig Mamabolo. And Bongmusa's back on his feet.
Ludwig Mamabolo wat 4 minute 41 sekondes agter die wenner eindig. En die twee van hulle wat natuurlik spanmaats is, mekaar omhels daar. Twee baie gelukkige netbankatlete. En so ook natuurlik hulle bestuurder, Nick Bester.
Yeah, a very delighted Nick Bester, and that's 3 winners standing next to each other there. Nick Bester, Mthembu and Mamabolo, and Gift Kalehe coming in third place.
Maar hier is 'n verrassing. Toe ons laas gekyk het was Rufus Potto in die derde plek. Hy het net verby Steven Mzingi gegaan. Gift Kalehe het gelyk of hy agteruit hardloop, maar hier is Gift Kalehe en ons gaan 'n Suid-Afrikaanse 1, 2, 3 hê in die Comrades 2014.
And Gift showing that he has the same genetics as his brother Andrew, keeping the Kalehe name up there in the Comrades finishes. Well done, Gift. He ran a great race. He entertained us with some thrilling tactics, and he's got a deserved third place.
So that was the first three. That's Gift Kalehe running in the colours of Samankor, trained by John Hamlet, who also trained his brother Andrew. And Andrew was one of the legends at the dinner the other night, and Gift definitely picking up the mantle from his brother, and that is his another gold medal for him. So I think that's a fantastic performance by Gift. He's a tiny little guy and clearly suited for the down run.
And Stephen Mzingi, 3-time winner and a runner with a time of 5 hours and 23 minutes for this down run, coming in 4th place. He was 10th last year, so he'll be thrilled with this, and he also ran a wonderful race.
Bruce's top 5 or 6 has been fascinating in the last few kilometers. They've changed, with the exception of Bongmusa Mthembu, they've changed positions so much. And Stephen Mzingi coming through here for 4th place. En reg agter hom het ek ook vir Rufus Potto gesien wat in die 5de plek gaan deurkom. Suid-Afrika het 4 van die top 5 atlete.
Another gold medal for Potto, and of course another one for Mzingi. But Rufus Potto now being very consistent. Gold last year, gold this year, and Mzingi now got another gold to add his collection. I think he had 7 before today.
And now they're just 5 of those precious gold medals to collect, and here we go, 6th place.
6de plek daar, Mthidi Mkhize wat inkom. Hy het ook van nêrens af gekom hier in die top 10, en hy het sy 6de plek behou hier oor die laaste kilometer of so, en Mthidi Mkhize wat in die 6de plek gaan eindig.
Mkhize, a very consistent runner, got a couple of gold medals before. And one of the folks from one of the runners from the local KwaZulu-Natal province. There's a prize later on for the first KZN guy, and I don't think it's going to be him, but Keys has got that before. There's John Hamilton shot, wearing the Samankor chrome blue colours. The trainer, as we said, of Gift Kalehe, Craig Fry in the background in the yellow. He's the manager of Stephen Mzingi.
In fact, Ian, the first KZN guy is Bongmusa Mthembu from Nedbank Running Club KZN, the winner of the race.
And Jonas Bood, second last year. Coming in now in 6th place? 7th place. 7th place.
Jonas Boot in die 7de plek hier waar die stadion inkom. Hy was natuurlik tweede verlede jaar, uitstekende ultramarathon atleet, 100 km kampioenskap, hy het al tweede geëindig op meer as een keer dit gedoen. en hy het ook die Swiss Alpine Marathon al 7 keer gewen. Dis 78 km marathon. Heel waarskynlik die naaste in afstand aan die Comrades Marathon.
Many of the experts put Jonas Budd down as a possible winner today. I suspect, though, that he's probably stronger on the uprun. He was second last year behind Claude Mashiwa. It's once again, this is a very solid performance by the Swede, a quiet man. As we know, the multiple winner of the Swiss Alpine Marathon in Davos. And here he is once again coming to the Comrades Marathon. And that is the third Nedbank man home, so they are doing pretty well, Bruce.
They certainly are. Ian, what's really impressed me is the depth of quality in this field, in these first 10 runners. And we've only had a couple of minutes going past, and we've got 7 runners in already. In the old days, there used to be big gaps between the runners, and we always knew that if we could break 6 hours, we'd get a gold medal. Well, 6 hours is not going to be good enough.
Well, Jonas Budd is first in his age group, the first man over 40 to complete the race this year, and in 7th place, but first in the over 40s. So a great run again by the Swede.
And he really loves coming here. A lot of these foreign runners just say that the atmosphere and the camaraderie and whatever at the Comrades Marathon is unsurpassed in the world of road running. And the crowds at the finisher, that splash of yellow and green on the finish there, with the flora matching the Nedbank's green. And Jonas Budd, job well done. Nick Best acclaimed. He's looking for 5 male gold medals. Let's see if he gets them, or 10 altogether out of the top 20 available. Jonas Budd, very, very good performance once again.
As ek so in die veld afkyk, die volgende Nedbank atleet was by 82 km nie eers in die top 25 nie, so ek weet nie of Nick Bester gaan kry wat hy wil hê op die oomblik nie. Daar's 'n Toyota atleet wat nou deurkom. Weer kyk wie dit daar is.
Position number 8 coming up now.
Definitief een van die atlete wat ingekom het in die laaste paar kilometer. En dit is Manoko William Mokwalakwala wat hier inkom. William Mokwalakwala wat hier gaan klaarmaak.
And Prodigal Kamala behind him. So Mokwalakwala comes in for Toyota. And that looks like Prodigal Kamala. So that's 9 down.
1 more gold. And a lot of runners say that the worst position in Comrades is 11th.
I don't think I'd agree. They always say the worst position in a race is 4th, but it's, in my opinion, it's better than 5th or 6th. So I'm not sure I agree with that. At least you get a Wally Hayward medal.
Yes, you do if you break 6 hours, and they'll be handing out quite a few Wally Hayward medals, half gold, half silver, to commemorate the great man. And those medals are awarded to anyone who doesn't make the top 10 but breaks the 6 hour barrier.
So 8 was William Mokwalakwala from the Toyota Club, 9th Prodigal Kamalo from the Maxed Elite, and 1 more gold medal to go. And that is very, very important for these athletes. Not only is there a lot of prize money attached to that and incentives, but somehow a gold in Comrades is a real feather in your cap. And a lot of these runners, maybe 100 guys, are racing for that 10th place. That's another Samankor runner. Makofani, we haven't seen him. Laturi Makofani of Samankor, that's their 2nd gold medal, and John Hamlet must be a happy man to get 2 golds.
And that closes out the gold medals for the men's race today. And now we'll see the Wally Hayward medalists and the people trying to help their team do well.
Well, last year, as we see Laturi Makofani coming in for 10th, last year there were only 3 Wally Hayward medals for the guys that get out of the top 10 but break 6 hours. Well, we've got 19 minutes to go, and I think we're going to have a whole whack of Wally Hayward medals this year.
They're going to be handing out plenty of them, and that's fantastic because, of course, it honors the great man.
Daar's Vasily Larkin, natuurlik die tweede vinnigste atleet ooit oor 100 km, en hy eindig hier in die 11de posisie vir die eerste Wally Hayward medalje.
Well done to Vasily, 23-year-old, straight out of the Russian army. Can't speak a word of English. I had a chat with him. Very quiet, shy guy, but very confident. Coming in here with a 6:18 100k behind him, the 2nd fastest ever in the world of 100k running, and I think he did very, very well. Often, Bruce, we've seen these guys with the big pedigrees with 100k's, they don't crack it here.
Yes, quite often because they race too often before Comrades. As I said earlier, Comrades are a very selfish race, and you have to stay away from running long distance races and dedicate everything to Comrades. But he seems to have done really well, despite the fact that he's got 100k in his legs.
Also the youngest guy in the top 11, that's for sure. So we have now 11 men home. Akofani was the 10th guy, and is that Lucas Nonyana? Lucas Nonyana. Boy, we haven't seen him for a while. Lucas has been in and out of Comrades in the past, gold medalist I think in the past, but coming back with a bang this year.
Lucas Nonyana op die oomblik in die 12de posisie. Hy is ook net hier buite die stadion en dit lyk nie of iemand naby aan hom is nie. Mike Fokoroni was so wat 3-4 minute agter hom 7 kilometer gelede. So tensy Mike Fokoroni baie vinnig begin hardloop het, gaan Lucas Nonyana in die 12de posisie eindig.
Let's go back. If you've just joined us, the first 5 men across the line: Bongmusa Mthembu 5:28, Ludwig Mamabolo 5:33, Gift Kalehe third, Stephen Mozingi fourth, Lucas Forto. Those are the top 5 they're in, and this is position number 13 coming into the stadium.
Lucas Nonyana coming in 12th place at the moment, and the top 10 again: Bongmusa Mthembu, Ludwig Mamabolo, Gift Kalehe, Stephen Mozingi, Rufus Porto, and 4 of those South Africans except for Stephen Mzingi. Then another South Africa, Mdadisi Mkhize, Jonas Budd, the Swede, in 7th place, William Omokwala in 8th, Prodigal Kamalo in 9th, and Latudi Makofana in 10th. And this man here, Lucas Nonyana, coming in 12th, and he looks like a very tired man, Bruce.
Yes, but always when you hit that grass in the stadium, it's very uplifting, and of course he knows the journey is over. He can relax and recover as soon as he's run these last 300 meters, and he'll get a great welcome from the crowd as he comes round.
Well, it certainly was a great run by Bongmusa Mthembu as we watch Lucas Nonyana wending his way round. So let's wait for Lucas Nonyana to go over the line, and then we will go down and get a word from our winner. But let's not forget that this is 12th place in around about 5 hours and 44 minutes, and that is just a superb performance, getting a Wally Hayward medal. So let's bring Lucas Nonyana home. He's been around Comrades for a long time, and I haven't seen him up in the top 20 for a while. It's really good to see him back. Class runner is Lucas Nonyana, also running for the Maxed Elite team. Ahead of him a couple of his teammates, including Tsedizi and Keys. He finished up in, where did he finish? In the 6th place, his teammate. So Lucas Nonyana coming into full position in number 12, get himself a Wally Hayward medal for breaking 6 hours. And the crowd bringing him home. Such a wonderful atmosphere in Kingsmead. Thousands of people packed into the stadium. And Lucas Nonyana crosses over the finish line. So let's go down to Peter Tabili, who's down there with our winner, Bongmusa Mthembu.
Okay, thank you very much, Ian and commentary team. I'm here with the winner, Bongmusa Mthembu. Bongmusa, your feeling, brother, is 1, 2, 3 for South Africa, and you are number 1. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, it's always great to do well, and it's always great to party. I know it's come with a pedigree. It's come again with the hard work I did. I mean, first of all, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank God for giving me this opportunity. Without Him, it's a mind He given me. I knew, but this day I will take it. And also, I want to thank Ubaba, coach Wam Omusha, and I think this is a new beginning. Ubaba Uwili Mtolo. I want to thank him. I want to thank him with the guys. All they contribute to my win today. The guys they've been working with me, training with me since October last year. And I also want to thank Usbu Ngamani, the guy who working from Michael House. All the guys they've been contributing to my training camp. And I also want to take this opportunity again to thank the guys that I've been training with them all to my camp. Tusomosia, Luzugumteli, Sonkosnat Nyamagaz, and the other guys that they've been there. And also I want to thank all the people who have been helping me through the old route. I want to thank Ntombela, I want to thank Uzwe, all these men. They left their family and come and support me. This is my second family, and I want to thank my family, my fiance, and I want to thank all the guys. My younger brother who was crying all the way, pushing me, and today this is my victory. I'm grateful, but I know it's come with a challenge. It's difficult, I must say. It's not easy to train the Comrade, and it's not easy to lead the Comrade, I must say. But today I made it.
Mokatisi wa gagwe eleng William Tolo, your winner today. Bongmusa is very happy to have been a winner.
You know, I can't even say the words. The way I'm so excited in my life. It looked like I've won the race. But I had no doubt because the way we were training, the guys were training very, very hard. He deserved to win it because last year, the last down run, he ran very well. But today, he made for South Africa. He made especially for Natal because it's been a long time that Natal hasn't won a race. And I'm very happy, and I'm sure that it will be more champion, especially here in KwaZulu-Natal, if they can give me opportunity to train the runners, because most of them, we have got a lot of talent, but we need the right people to grow the talent.
William Tolo from our commentary team as well is here with his winner and is back to their commentary team. Thank you very much.
Well, that was Peter de Beely on the finish line with a very excited William Tolo, and also with an even more excited winner, Bongmusa Mthembu. We'll be back with the women's race after this. Okay, we're not quite ready for that, so we'll bring in a couple more of the guys. These are the winners of the Wally Hayward medals for breaking the 6-hour barrier.
Well, the athletes we've missed, Mike Fukaroni finishing in 13th place there, Dibate Charles Tijani in 14th, 15th was Sipiwe Ndlela, and the athlete coming in there now will finish in 16th place, it seems, as he enters the stadium.
And it's been good to see quite a dominance of the South African runners. I mean, over the years we've seen Russians dominate the top 10, a lot of Lesotho and Zimbabweans, but the South African men have certainly stamped their authority on this race.
There's another one of them, Elliot Lamini, is going to finish in 16th place here. And Helen, also a lot of these athletes finishing under the 6-hour mark, so a lot of Wally Hayward medals being handed out today.
It is. It's been a fantastic race. Lots of changes. I mean, it's really, nobody could have scripted this, you know. It's what we saw at the beginning, the people who we thought might come through, they haven't come through. But we did see that big bunch early on when we did predict that many of the winners or the gold medalists would come from that, and I think we got that right.
En dis definitief wat gebeur het in die wedloop. Daar is Elliot Lamini wat klaar maak op die oomblik in die 16de posisie. En net voor hom was Sipiwe Ndlela 15de, al twee van Suid-Afrika natuurlik. Baie Suid-Afrikaanse atlete hier in die top 10, ook so in die top 20. Ons wag nog vir so 'n paar atlete om in te kom. Van Toyota daar is Leboko Noto. En nee, dit is nie Noto nie wat hier inkom nie. Dit lyk meer dis Temo Rampuku van Toyota, atleet van Lesotho wat hier 17de gaan eindig.
I think that we're quite a keen contest for the men's team prize, because we also have a real mixture of runners from Toyota, Nedbank, Max Elite, Salmon Course. So, you know, it'll be we'll have to wait and get that result.
Well, certainly has been a wonderful, wonderful day for the South African athletes as they have finished not only 1, 2, 3, but a number of them coming in. This is Lesotho athlete Temo Rampuku. Arno identified just a moment ago, but great finish. It's wonderful for these athletes who have struggled throughout this 89.28 kilometer race and come to the finish line, eventually won by Bongmusa Mthembu, who we heard from just a moment ago. Second, Ludwig Mamabolo, Gift Kilaire picking up third position. So South Africans 1, 2, 3. But what a great story of what is happening with the men's race, the 1, 2, 3, and Peter Tabile has more athletes standing by.
Dwayne Khamogo le babogedi mefa kena le Ludwig Mamabolo yo bone maemo a bobedi mme o tla go gorogela 2012 ona bone jalo maemo a ntla. Ludwig, maikutlo ga go ka phenya ya ka go bona maemo a bobedi mo selemong sena.
Tobel sa mathomo ke rata go leboga Ramasedi ga go nne go mfa sona sebaka sa gore ke be fa ke tloga ke thabile kudu ka maemo a bobedi go bana go tla lemoga since ke thoma go mathale batlo la Comrades ka 2010 ke ile ka tswa maemo a bobedi ka tswa maemo a pele le go ne ke tsule maemo a bobedi go nna ke mohlodi ka lebaka la gore ga go bonolo ka lebaka la gore mamotlha ba ditimi ka moka be ba lebeletse nna ga ke dira move ba dira nna so mara ke tloga ke thaba kudu ge Bongmusa Mthembu a winne because maabane ko teleng re bolela ka gore na re ilo tlhabana jwang le mashola a ditimi tse dingwe ene ke nana gore lena le o thero la rena le be rekile ka lebaka la go tseba gore nna le tlote re tla be re le ka gare ga maikgatelelo a magolo kudu ke leboga ge ena gonne re ile ra re bolela lena theletša mme a kgona go thupa lebelo le nna ke tloga ke thabile kudu ke leboga modimo.
It's a 1, 2, 3 for South Africa.
Ke seo le ka gopola le mogare gabe ke boletse ka re race ya Comrades it belongs to South Africans. We mustn't be afraid. We must take the initiative. We must go forward and prove to the Minister of Sport that yes, we are the best, we are the champs. We are the country. We are proud of South African, the Rainbow Nation. We are all the best.
go tswa fa Ludic o le ba go kae
Go tloga fa mogala wa reshu ke be ke ka mokibelo ke ile ka ba le meeting le bana ba bo go Sweden le bo Russia ba nyaka gore ke tle mabelong ke tle ke tima kwa bona ke sa tlo dula fa se le gremo and then re gone go bona gore na go ya pele re ya mo kae ke tloga ke le boga setlhopha sa ka sa TP tshwarano Podium team wa go la Kempton Park ba ba tlhokometseng ke thapelo coach Khotso ke tloga ke le boga gudu thego ba mphileng yona le nna ke tloga ke le motlotlo today ka lebaka la bona
yo ene le Ludic Mamabolo yo bone maemo a bobedi mme ke boela jalo kwa our commentary team.
Well, this another one of the athletes making his way home. It looks like Peter Tadzirepa of the Maxed International, Elite International team, but some great stories from the men's race so far. South African 1, 2, 3, the top two from the Nedbank Running Club, which would certainly please Nick Bester, and of course our fellow commentator William Tolo is one of his athletes, in the sense that one of the men that he runs with, Bongmusa Mthembu, having picked up the winner's medal in today's 2014 Comrades Marathon. Stephen Mujengi finishing a very respectable 4th place, and Rufus Porto, despite leading at some stage and looking like he was falling off the pace slightly, managing to hold on to 5th position. But I think one of the great stories of this Comrades Marathon is if you look back to the position number 12, Lucas Nonyana, the 8th South African home. This is a man that 11 years ago, just over a decade, couldn't even make the halfway. He missed out on the cutoff, decided he was going to finish this race, finish it strongly. And to finish in 12th position when just over a decade ago you couldn't make the halfway cutoff, I think it's just a remarkable, remarkable story.
Oh, very much so. And inspiring to those people out there. It's just amazing what can happen. And I think if we're waiting to get a little bit more information on the women's field, which we will switch across to shortly, we will see some of the ladies coming in the top 10 who may have similar backgrounds picking up gold medals.
So similar medals. We've got a host of athletes now starting to come over. I think that's number 18. But in terms of number of athletes coming over the line, we're going to see a few more starting to come over a little more frequently now.
Ja, dis Leboka Ernest Noto van Toyota Atletiek Club, ook van Lesotho, soos Temo Rapuku wat ons voor die nacht gekyk het. Hy gaan inkom in die 19de posisie op die oomblik. Dit is Leboka Ernest Noto. Hy was op 'n stadium saam met Steven Muzingi, Ludwig Mamabolo en daardie groep, maar hy het bietjie teruggeval hier en hy gaan op die oomblik eindig so wat 3:30 agter die wenner.
So Lebopo Mabatile Lebopo having finished for the Maxed Elite team, and the Toyota athlete as well crossing the finish line. Leboko very happy indeed with his finish. But let's hear from South Africa's Gift Kelehe, who finished in 3rd today. He's standing by with Peter Tabile.
Thank you, Dwayne, and the team. Kenale Gift Kelehe yo bone maimo aboraro. Gift o bone maimo aboraro maikutlo a gago ka maimo a o a fitlheletseng mo letsatsing la gompieno mo Comrades.
Ke ikutlwa ke thabile thata mogolo. Ke ntse ke eme nako e telele because ke khale ke le nna ke batla go nna top 3 mo Comrades. Last year I had a bad race. I had a stress fracture 2 weeks before the Comrades, but I took a chance and ran. But the coach pulled me off. 20 kilos to go. I was hurting, but I went back and lay off for 4 months, not training. Then January I have to come back and train, and I worked very hard. So ke ikutlwa ke thabile thata gompieno le nna gore ke kry-ile position 3. I'm very happy.
O no dira ka ipakanyo ya gago?
Go na le pleke ba e bitsang Dalstrom in Mpumalanga. Ke teng go ke iphitlhang ko teng. Ke ntse ko 8 weeks training very hard. Dalstrom is a very, very beautiful place for training. It's a high altitude, almost 1,800 meters above the sea level, and it's very cold, that place. That is why I like it, because when I'm training there, I come prepared to run my race.
O ikatisitse lebelo leno le le matla ile tota go gaisa mo lefatsheng. Jaanong fa moraga fa o le bakae?
Fa moraga fa ke a go ikhutsa for 2 weeks, then I'll come back jogging slowly. There are some races that I will run. The races like Soweto Marathon, I can go and run city to city just to loosen up the legs. But I want to run a marathon next year, January. I want to run at least sub 220 so that I can be prepared, because nowadays Comrades is fast. You need more speed.
Gift mega gangwe fela ke boela kwa wena Dwayne and take over.
We just saw Thabo Nkuna finishing there in the 20th place. Bethuel Nechifefe coming in 21st as the finishers continue to stream into the Kingsmead Stadium, and still, Helen, all of them under 6 hours.
Yeah, and we've got a couple more minutes to go until that 6-hour cutoff, and I think this has been a remarkable race in that we've got sort of over 20 guys breaking 6 hours. Great for running, great for South Africa, because most of them are running or from South Africa.
Lovemore Chabata wat hier deurkom vir Mixed Elite Internasionaal atleet van Zimbabwe. Hy is in die 22ste posisie waar hy gaan klaarmaak, en swaar bene hier vir Lovemore Chabata vir die laaste 100 meter of so van sy Comrades wedloop.
So Lovemore Chabata of Zimbabwe inside the stadium, that soft feeling of the soft grass rather than the pounding of the hard tar and asphalt out on the road for much of this 89.28 kilometer race. A very proud moment for the athletes that finished this race, and in such a respectable time as well. All these athletes are claiming Wally Hayward medals. Anybody that finishes sub 6 hours but outside of the gold medal positions, the top 10 positions, claims a very special Wally Hayward medal. And for each of these athletes, it's a particularly proud day as well. Maybe having missed out on gold, but certainly no disgrace in claiming a Wally Hayward medal whatsoever, named after the great Wally Hayward, a career that spanned 59 years in the race, starting back in 1930. He was just 21 when he went on to win the race by a very narrow margin back in the early days of the Comrades Marathon, and how it has grown. More of the elite athletes coming home.
Well, Themba Mthembu looking like a sprinter coming home here. Nice high knee lift with about 50 meters to go for another athlete from Max Elite. And for the team competition, interestingly, Dwayne, Nedbank had 3 athletes in the top 7, but from then it's all been Max Elite athletes streaming across the line.
Well, certainly the Max Elite athletes are coming home thick and fast now, as you say, very frequently crossing the finish line. And again, congratulations and thanks. We're going to go to a quick break, but when we come back, I'll tell you there's a lot of drama happening in the women's race as well. We'll get the views and insights of the great Helen Luca.
Get the new Corolla Quest 1.6 from only $174,900.
When you color your hair a lot, you need a color that cares a lot about your hair.
New Excellence Hair Color from L'Oreal. Exclusive triple care cream for triple rich color. Ceramides protect. Pro Keratin strengthens. Collagen replenishes.
My hair is healthier than ever, so my color is opulent, radiant. And grays? What grays?
New Excellence from L'Oreal Paris. Triple care cream, triple rich color.
We're worth it.
As we raise the skills of South Africans, we move to a more prosperous tomorrow. For over 12 years, KETHSITA has contributed to raising skills in the tourism and travel, hospitality, conservation, sports, recreation and fitness, arts and culture and heritage, and gaming lotteries sector through the partnership with business, communities and government. KETHSITA, Sustainable People Development for Prosperity. KETHSITA, Sustainable People Development for Prosperity through partnerships with business, communities and government.
Lovely aerial views of Durban along the race route. Pietermaritzburg to Durban, 89.28 kilometres, the Comrades Marathon, the 89th running in 2014. Next year a big 9-0, another milestone mark in this great race, often around 90 kilometres, and certainly a 90th running is going to be a special one indeed. So if you're inspired by what the athletes have done here, perhaps there's an opportunity to enter for that race. Now, this is Elena Nurgalieva. She is currently leading the women's race, but not by much. She and Olesia have started to lose some significant ground. Her twin sister Olesia lose some ground on Ellie Greenwood. Ellie Greenwood, the great British athlete currently residing in Canada, although she does some of her training in the Alpine region of Switzerland in particular, also some of the Scandinavian countries. I know she's very fond of Norway, but certainly Ellie Greenwood has closed the gap, Helen, from over 10 minutes some stage ago to 2:46 at the 7-kilometre marker. Elena and Olesia losing a little pace, and Olesia's been walking for some of this final few kilometres that she's been out on the course.
Yes, I think it's the first time that we've actually seen the Nurgalieva sisters actually both walking, swapping places, sort of not looking as strong as, like we usually are used to seeing them. And I think all that will be going through Elena's mind is that the last down run, she was very aware that Ellie Greenwood would close that gap significantly to just over 1 minute, and we could have a repeat performance today.
Well, as much as the women's race continues, we are encouraging your interaction on social media. Hashtag Comrades 2014. A lot of pride with the South African 1-2-3, certainly, for this magnificent race, as we are with the women's race leader, Elena Nurgalieva. Stephen Rutledge among those sending in tweets. Absolutely incredible how these runners can make their way through this field. It's a remarkable field. One of the young ladies tweeting in saying, I couldn't even cycle the route in the 5 hours 28 that Bongmusa Mthembu posted to win today's Comrades Marathon. But a very proud day for Bongmusa Mthembu, 30-year-old Nedbank athlete, who finished 1-2 with Ludwig Mamabolo, his Nedbank athlete. But in terms of the women's race, it's about the two Toyota athletes in the Nurgalieva twins. They are being caught at the moment by Ellie Greenwood. I can tell you that Irina Antropova of Russia is a good 15 minutes off the pace at the Mayville marker. That's at 7 kilometers to go, the Wavell marker. So in terms of winning the race, I think it's not a great chance for Irina Antropova, but certainly Ellie Greenwood providing a great deal of pressure on the Nurgalieva twins. Currently, though, Elena is still looking good, and she's nearing the finish line if she can hold on. But right now, it's a question about whether or not she can just hold on.
Well, we caught her looking back over her shoulder in a shot just a couple of seconds ago. But I think what we're seeing now is really what makes these girls so good. There's absolute tenacity. But here we've got Ellie Greenwood looking stronger than Eleanor. There's still a couple of kilometres to go. And if she can maintain that, oh, well, here we go.
Well, how's that? She's just come up out of nowhere. Wow. She really has. She was 2 minutes 46 seconds behind just a couple of kilometres ago. She's made up that distance, and she is looking so fresh, so strong. She could easily streak to the finish line, and the way the Nurgalieva sisters are struggling, I don't think from an athlete's perspective that there's any sign of a Nurgalieva victory coming here.
Want Dwayne, ek is verbaas in Nurgalieva as hardloop, want ons het hulle gesien loop en op 'n stadium was Elena voor en toe weer Olesia en albei het gestap, maar Ellie Greenwood wat uitstekend hardloop hier, sy het so vinnig ingehaal. Sy is nou verby Elena Nurgalieva. Die ander ding wat verander het is Irina Antropova in die 4de plek wat nou voor Camille Herren is, maar dit is Ellie Greenwood wat so pas verby Elena Nurgalieva gegaan het. Daar is Olesia Nurgalieva. En nie seker of sy op die oomblik voor is nie en of Ellie Greenwood voor is nie. Maar dit lyk of Ellie Greenwood, dit is die 3de plek op die oomblik, is Olesia Nurgalieva op die 3de plek op die oomblik. En sy gaan heel waarskynlik daar eindig, want Irina Antropova is so wat 15 minute agter hierdie top 3 atlete.
Well, this is Olesia Nurgalieva, currently in 3rd position and nearly being hit by the bike as well in terms of stopping just it's such an unfamiliar sight to see both of the Nurgalieva sisters walking this race. They went out hard from the onset. It looked like it would be a very fast time. We thought that with their experience in this race, though, they would be able to hold out, but ultimately, in conditions perhaps, and the race proving a little too much today, a little too grueling for the 37-year-old twins. But speaking of women who have not been cracked by the race today, the trail runner Ellie Greenwood is putting on a magnificent performance to finish this race particularly strongly.
Well, it just reminds me of something that you said, Helen, that the Nurgalieva twins didn't look that strong in Two Oceans either. They just weren't fit.
Well, they did say to us that they had colds, etc., and took it quite easy, but it's still quite surprising when you run to run a 2:45 marathon when you're not feeling well, knowing that you've got your real race 6 weeks later. Is it that wise? And I think, they must be quite confident of their ability to come to South Africa and dominate these races. So when we get a foreign, another athlete like Ellie coming through, then they need to be in peak condition.
Wel, dat is altyd in die moeilikheid op die oomblik, die Nurgalieva tweeling, albei wat stap en oor hulle skouers begin kyk. Dit is Elena Nurgalieva aan die tweede plek op die oomblik. Kan net daar in die afstand sien Ellie Greenwood wat nou ver voor haar is. En ek dink die Nurgalieva tweeling wat redelik verseker kan wees van tweede en derde plek op die oomblik. Irina Antropova wat ver agter is, so wat 14 minute agter Elena Nurgalieva. Daar is Ellie Greenwood die voorloper en ek dink nie enigiemand gaan haar stop op hierdie stadium nie. Sy lyk uitstekend hier aan die einde van die Comrades marathon.
Well, a huge cheer for Ellie Greenwood. The visuals of her heading down towards Kingsmead Stadium, popping up on the big screens inside the stadium, just behind the finish line. And a great cheer for Elena Greenwood. She's become a popular figure in the short time that she's been associated with the race. But certainly no disgrace from the Nurgalievas. Both of them, remarkable records. It looks like, despite the way they're struggling, Olesia will pick up her 10th gold medal. But Elena, she's won 11 consecutive gold medals. You can't take anything away from her as an athlete. She's won it 8 times. But she's struggling towards the end of this race here. This is Elena. She's got 11 consecutive gold medals, but the 37-year-old Toyota athlete really is starting to look like she's going to fall back the pace, but still pick up a gold medal.
I mean, we sit here, and as you say, we're kind of talking like with shock and surprise, but they've been running and dominating this race for 12 years. I mean, they're 12 years older. There's a lot more wear and tear in the body. So whilst they're not doing what we're used to seeing them doing, it's still a great performance, and it sort of shows up how lacking we are in the other woman to come through, because there's still quite a significant gap between the fourth ladies and the second and third.
Kyk ons na Eleanor Greenwood wat voorhardloop op die oomblik, en ons sal nou kan sien wat die gaping is na die tweede atleet. Daar aan die bokant van die beeld is Elena Nurgalieva, en 'n redelike groot gaping tussen daardie twee wat net al hoe groter en groter word. Ellie Greenwood wat baie goed hier hardloop. Sy het haar wedloop baie goed gepas hierso en seker gemaak sy gaan nie te vinnig in die begin nie. And Helen, I was wondering, Nurgalieva twins not perhaps a bit overconfident in the way they started their race. They have been dominating it for so much of the time. Maybe they thought, they kind of own the race, but it just shows how tough Comrades can be.
Oh, very much. I think they're still going to come in way under 6:30, and there's not very many women that have actually run that. So I think one has to sort of put everything into perspective. And I think they've been able to come out here and run quite confidently, control the race, because there has not been that much competition. But if we look at Ellie Greenwood, she has focused on this race. She was badly injured last year. She didn't run any races. If you read any of her blogs, etc., the pages of running about herself, she will state that Comrades has been her goal this year, and she's focused specifically on that.
Yeah, she's been doing a couple of 50 milers. She's been doing a lot of trail running. She said as well, not averse to training on the treadmill when conditions haven't always been wonderful. So she's got a good all-round training behind her, and it looks like it's paying off as well. She's kept her pace. She hasn't worried about the aggressive start of the Nurgalieva twins. Now, remember your chance to win as well. If you can enter the Toyota Amabidi winner car competition, you just SMS the word Toyota to 34068. Stand a chance to win a car. Elena Nurgalieva constantly looking over her shoulder now. I think she's looking to see whether or not she can spot her sister Olesia. Ultimately, though, the women's race is being led currently by the great British athlete Ellie Greenwood, and it looks like she's going to streak all the way to victory. Nobody's going to stop her now, and certainly the pace of Eleanor Greenwood too much. Even if the Nurgalieva twins somehow manage to find a second win, I don't think they are going to be able to catch Eleanor Greenwood. She runs in the colours of Great Britain, although she recently became a Canadian citizen, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct. She lives in Vancouver. She loves it. She enjoys the trail and just the outside life that she can lead there. This year she ran a personal best for 21 kilometres in April, 1:17, and I think we can see sort of the benefits of that. She also kept in contact with Bruce Fordyce, getting sort of lots of tips and advice on how to really approach this. Was she doing things correctly? As well as she ran a marathon 28 days ago, just as in jogging and preparation. She wrote how she made sure she had her shoes and her socks, everything that she was going to be wearing today, and that plan has actually fallen into place for her, and well done.
Well, there's nobody better to go for in terms of advice on how to go about winning a Comrades Marathon. The 2014 race has certainly been a phenomenal race. In terms of the men's race, if you missed it earlier, Bongmusa Mthembu managing to run to victory ahead of Ludwig Mamabolo and Gift Kelehe. After some thoroughly exciting changes in the men's positioning throughout the final stages. Ultimately, the Bongmusa Mthembu streaking out, not being caught, despite a valiant attempt by Ludwig Mamabolo, his teammate, to come up and catch him. In the women's race, it's been a similar story. The Nurgalieva twins are now over 10 minutes in front at one stage, and Eleanor Greenwood has slowly gone about her business, kept her tempo, constantly hydrated, and looks so comfortable now in the finishing stages. It's all about pacing yourself.
Ons sê hoe Eleanor Greenwood advies gekry het van Bruce Fordyce, en dit was 'n tipiese Bruce Fordyce wedloop wat sy gehardloop het. Hier aan die einde deurgekom. Die Nurgalievas het baie vinnig begin, en hulle betaal nou die prys daarvoor. Natuurlik uitstekende atlete in hulle eie reg, maar beide Ulissia en Elena Nurgalieva wat nog steeds loop van tyd tot tyd, maar geen sulke probleme vir Eleanor Greenwood nie. En die einde is in sig vir haar nou. Sy is op pad na Kingsmead Sahara Cricket Stadion toe met 'n skare wat vir haar wag, en 'n definitiewe skare vir wie sy 'n groot gunsteling is.
Well, the last split we had from the spotters suggests that there's a lead of only 1 minute 20, but from the visuals that we've got, it seems to have increased quite significantly already in the time since we've got the splits from these spotters.
She's flying, and we heard back from the route about an hour ago, I think around Cowie's Hill, that Eleanor was actually not feeling as good as she was just going through a bad patch, and I think it just demonstrates that you push through these, you run through them, you run back into your race, and she's demonstrating that now so well.
Wel, daar's bevestiging dat daar die 1 minuut 20 sekondes gaping besig is om groter te word en nie kleiner nie, want Ellie Greenwood hardloop baie goed en Elena Nurgalieva wat van tyd tot tyd loop. Ek dink die groot gevaar vir beide Elena Nurgalieva as ook haar suster Ulissia, hoe ver agter hulle is Irina Antropova op die oomblik. Met 7 km om te gaan was hy so wat 15 minute agter, maar beide Elena en Ulissia wat baie loop op hierdie stadium, kan Antropova 'n 15 minute gaping toemaak in slegs 7 km.
Well, the way that they have slowed down indeed. Certainly Irina Antropova, who was 15 minutes, 15:34 in fact, with 7 Ks to go. She was behind Ellie Greenwood at the time. Never mind the Nurgalieva twins, but certainly the way that Ellie Greenwood is streaked by, she's increasing her lead with every stride. Elena Nurgalieva now walking practically the remainder of the route. Olesya Nurgalieva not too far behind her twin sister, but certainly not making a great deal of pace pushing forward either. Approaching the finish now is Ellie Greenwood. She's certainly got the victory in the bag, bar the sort of proverbial hitting the wall, but I doubt that's going to happen. She looks far too comfortable. That stride looks so good.
Oh, her adrenaline will be at an all-time high. She's not going to sort of stop or fall over, or even if I think she gets a cramp or something, she'll manage to cross that finish line. She's looking magnificent, and big surprise for a lot of people, having a new winner. A bit disappointing for Elena not picking up that 9th win, but this is what happens in Comrades. It can be anybody's race.
I don't think she was necessarily the favourite from the Nedbank team either to go on a win, but certainly she's proved that she's got a very, very strong team around her in this Nedbank runners team, not least of which is Irina Antropova. The South African hope, disappointingly for Shane Bosman, falling out of the race a little earlier. Unfortunate for her. But for Nedbank team, though, it is going to be a day of celebration, because not only did Bongmusa Mthembu win the men's race, the women's winner is going to be this great British athlete living in Canada but winning in South Africa. Great celebration after a year of dedicated training leading up to this moment.
Well, Ellie Greenwood is very well known in the ultra trail running circles, and I think the fact that her name is going to be spread right around the world of having won this race, and it's just going to up the popularity, increase that awareness of the Comrades Marathon amongst these elite trail runners, multi-day races, because that is where the background that she comes from.
Kan sien hoe gewild sy daar is onder die skare hier by Kingsmead Sahara Cricket Stadion, en Bruce Fordyce wat hier op en af spring in die kommentaar ook agter ons, baie gelukkige man, maar ek dink nie enigiemand is so gelukkig soos Nick Bester nie. Netbank atlete in beide die mans en vroue wedlope wat eerste en tweede eindig, maar Ellie Greenwood vinnige glimlag daar op haar gesig, bietjie konsentrasie weer, kyk vinnig oor haar skouer, net om seker te maak, maar daar's geen twyfel dat sy die wenner van die Comrades Marathon gaan wees in 2014 nie.
Well, this is a very proud moment indeed for the great British athlete. Her first Comrades win, and she breaks the Russian domination that goes all the way back to 2002. Ellie Greenwood, living in Canada, running for Great Britain and running for Nick Bester's Nedbank team, has won her first Comrades Marathon. She is your Comrades 2014 champion in the women's events, and what a proud day, Helen. We spoke about her training, we spoke about the way she kept her rhythm and tempo, and certainly, as Arno pointed out, Bruce Fordyce, having picked her, one of the few who said she will win today, jumping up and down behind us in the commentary position.
And she's demonstrated you focus on this event, you put it in your mind. Everything has been geared towards this. She hasn't been distracted by other possible races, and she's got the reward for that focus.
She doesn't even look tired. She's having an animated conversation there with her team manager. Ellie Greenwood, die Comrades wenner, baie gelukkig daar. So wat 10 minute stadiger as haar tweede plek tyd van 2 jaar gelede, maar ek dink nie sy gee enigsins om oor tye op die oomblik nie. Sy het daar die eerste plek in die Comrades Marathon. Elena Nurgalieva wat nog steeds sukkel buite die stadion, nog steeds oor haar skouer kyk, so nou en dan loop. Ek weet nie waar haar suster Alicia op die oomblik is nie, maar as lyk nie of Alicia enigstens nader kom aan Elena nie. En weer eens die groot gevaar vir die twee Nurgalievas is Irina Antropova, 15 minute agter hulle met 7 kilometer om te gaan, maar ons moet sien presies waar Irina Antropova is.
Well, Ellie was second in the last down run to Elena, so they've swapped positions, possibly. We've just got to confirm who's caught up to who and who's passed who as far as the Nurgalieva sisters are going, but maybe they'll just wait for each other and walk in together, because there is still quite a significant gap, we believe, to the 4th position.
Well, she is staring down the back straight, heading towards the stadium, and Olesya is definitely within sight of her sister Elena. The question is whether they will finish second or third respectively. Which of the sisters will finish second or third respectively, despite the attempt by Irina Antropova to catch up to the Nurgalieva twins. It doesn't seem like that is going to happen today, but Elena constantly looking back over her shoulder to try to spot her sister. She's not far behind, but this is Elena coming into the finishing stretch now. She's currently in second position. Ellie Greenwood, having been crossed the finish line, is 6:18.15, is your women's winner today, following up from the men's victor Bongmusa Mthembu, the 30-year-old Nedbank athlete, of 5:28.34. Elena Nurgalieva waiting to get onto the grass. She'll be hearing the announcement as she heads into the stadium now. And her sister Olesya also walking, but not too far back. They will finish second and third. Irina Antropova looks to be finishing in 4th position. She's still some way back, running out of space to catch the Nurgalieva twins, who are firm favourites. And this just another remarkable record, a 12th consecutive gold medal at the Comrades Marathon, and that is something that cannot be taken away from this remarkable Comrades athlete.
Oh, she is. She's a phenomenon, and she's she's going to still run about 6:22, 6:23, and that's an extremely good time. And we sort of speaking about her, not with disappointment, but it's just that we've just not used to seeing her walking. We're not used to seeing her take so much strain. So it may just motivate a few of the other girls just to get out there that the race isn't totally owned by the Nurgalieva system.
Well, this will be her slowest down run finish time, but not possibly her slowest Comrades finish of all. Last year she ran 6:27 in the up run, but it amazes me that an athlete as accomplished as Elena Nurgalieva still sometimes gets beaten by the race.
Yes.
Well, it's all about this grueling event, how you feel on the day. Spoke about it to Ian Laxton earlier this week, saying it's about being adaptable. It's about judging, knowing and feeling. Ultimately, though, second place finish is still a wonderful achievement for somebody who has dominated in this event for the longest time. Her sister Olesia enters the stadium now, but Elena about to cross the finish line in second position in this women's race. She's just coming around the final corner to great applause inside Kingsmead Stadium, because she is certainly among the crowd favourites.
Elena Nurgalieva het nog nooit nie die Comrades klaar gemaak nie en nog nooit nie 'n goue medalje gehad nie. So dit is absoluut uitstekend. Haar suster Olesia natuurlik in 2012 nie die wedloop klaar gemaak nie, maar Elena Nurgalieva in die tweede plek hier en weer eens 'n baie goeie vertoning deur die Russiese atleet.
Well, they took to the challenge of the race. We saw them race off. Top of Polly Shorts had already broken away, had a little bit of a lead, went through halfway in 3 hours and 3 minutes, which we were sort of starting to wonder, well, were they going to break that 6 hours? However, it was not to be. The pace possibly just a little bit too quick for them under these conditions, and especially when you've got an athlete like Ellie Greenwood, who has proven that she's quite capable of running a very good down run. Coming through from the back, it perhaps was not the best tactic for today.
Dwayne, 31 grade Celsius nou hier in Durban, so dis warm daar buite vir die atlete en hierdie atlete wat natuurlik nou hulle wedloop klaar maak, maar die groot gros wat nog gaan deurkom deur die middag, gaan die hitte definitief begin voel by die stadion.
Well, certainly, I think the elements are taking their toll on all the athletes that they're starting to come home. At 31 degrees Celsius, you add the humidity to that, and you add the fact that you've run more than 2 full marathons, and it becomes, you get a sense of just how difficult this race is to complete. Again, top 3 finish for Olesia Nurgalieva as she rounds the final bend. She's got a few steps left to get to the finish line, but those seem to be the hardest, it seems, for Olesia Nurgalieva. Cowie's Hill looked to be where she was broken. She fell off the pace, off the back of her sister at the time. She fell some 40 seconds behind, and then a minute 40 behind, and then Eleanor Greenwood stepped up to the plate. 2 and 3 for the Nurgalieva twins. They have been beaten in Comrades 2014. But have you ever seen Olesia Nurgalieva looking quite so tired at the finish line?
Never seen them so exhausted. But the interesting thing about for Olesia today, she's had 2 firsts, 6 seconds, and this is her first third. She's become a fourth, so she's now got a sweep of the top 4 placings, so which she can be happy about something now.
Meanwhile, Elena Nurgalieva is saying, I've had enough. Olesia is down as well, prone on the grass of Kingsmead. Elena inside, under the tent. The two look absolutely exhausted. They went out furiously, they went out hard, and their bodies have been punished by the conditions, by the race. And they have taken an absolute hammering. They've managed to come home to gold medals, but has it taken its toll on them physically? It seems to have broken both of them, despite the fact that they did conquer the race, claim a gold medal.
What a contrast to the winner, Ellie Greenwood, who was having all these conversations. It just seems that the thrill of winning just gives you that bit more energy. En Olesia Nurgalieva wat daar lê op die grond, haar suster Elena ook uit binne die tent. En ons wag nog vir die 4de plek om klaar te maak in die Comrades wedloop.
When finished becomes finish, and could do becomes just did. This is the moment. It's why you run. When finished becomes finish, and could do becomes just did. This is the moment. It's why you run.
Lovely aerial view of Kingsmead Stadium, the finishing point for the 2014 Comrades Marathon, won by Bongmusa Mthembu of South Africa, the 30-year-old Nedbank athlete, 5:28.34, having won the men's race. The women's race having been won by Great Britain's Ellie Greenwood, a 6:18.15. So a new champion in both the men's and women's races for the 2014 Comrades Marathon. The women's race, top three home, the Nurgalieva twins, Elena and Olesia finishing in second and third respectively behind the Nedbank International athlete Ellie Greenwood. Irina Antropova is not far outside the stadium. She'll be coming home in fourth position, it seems. But the women's race has been one of great anticipation for so many. We'll bring you news of Zola Budd as well in just a short while. But your chance to win, if you haven't already, you can SMS Toyota to 34068. SMS is costing R1.50, but a chance for you to enter the Toyota Amabidi winner car competition and in fact walk away with a Toyota Corolla Quest if you are the winner. You're donating to charity in the process as well. A real chance to become a winner. Just approaching the 6:30 mark in the 2014 Comrades Marathon. We'll be bringing you some interviews from the women's race as well, including an interview with the women's winner shortly. .6:30 as some of these athletes enter the stadium. They are just about in the finish line, just over 400 meters to go. 6:30 is up on the clock. So as the 2014 Comrades Marathon continues, I can tell you that Ian Laxton has managed to find the 2014 women's winner. She was 55th overall. Eleanor Greenwood with Ian Laxton.
Ellie Greenwood, that was a fantastic run. You look so strong. How is it?
That was one of the hardest to run, not just or not. People were saying I felt good, but I just said to someone, they said, what was it like at 15 to get K to go? And I was not concerned about getting caught with fourth, but I had no clue I was going to be in contention until about 5K. I saw the twins ahead and I thought this might be the hardest 5K ever, but you can't give, you've got to give 110%, because 2 years ago I lost and came second by 72 seconds, and I've been tormented by that, and I thought I'm going to give it absolutely everything. So,
did you think that you'd win when they were 10 minutes ahead?
No, I mean, for a while I was sort of 4, and then I was really struggling, as I often do on the uphills. I walked a lot on the uphills, But I was lucky on the down. I just said, please, please, I don't want my quads to come out on me. But I have strong quads. I've done a lot of downhill sessions. And yeah, I just kept pushing. I try and kept positive. And but no, when I was 9 minutes back, I thought I'm far too close to the finish line to make up that much time. But then the crowds are super, and the crowds were saying how the twins were not looking as strong. And of course, that gave me a bit of hope. And yeah, I just gave it everything I could.
How do you feel about winning the world's greatest ultramarathon race?
This is a dream come true, absolutely. Like, I've said to people, if I could only win one race ever, this would be it. It's the history, the people, the support along the way, the finish, the camaraderie between the competitors, the size of the field. Like, there's so many things that do make it, like they call it, the ultimate human race. And
do you think you'll be back next year for the uprun, a different race altogether?
Different race altogether. I think downhill is to my advantage for sure. Again, I just say I'll rest up and I'll start training for the uphill. You train, you know what the race is going to be, and I know next year it's an uphill, so I'll train to be an uphill runner. So likely.
Ellie Greenwood, have a rest now. Well done.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Now, we saw the top three, and we've just had an interview with the winner, Ellie Greenwood, a culmination of a lifelong dream to win the Comrades Marathon. She's finally done it in the year 2014. She is winner Elena Nurgalieva, Lesya Nurgalieva, second and third respectively, and this is the fourth place finisher, Irina Antropova. She turns 32 tomorrow. An early birthday present, gold medal for this lady.
She's going to be very happy with her performance. It's going to be her 5th gold medal, and she's improved on her time by about 10 minutes. So that is quite a big chunk of your personal best. And she looks quite comfortable, running quite steadily, and she's sort of within herself. But I'm sure quite relieved to be crossing that finish line.
No doubt, very proud indeed of her achievements. Irina Antropova, 4th place in the 2014 Comrades Marathon, the women's event, just ahead of her, Lesya Nurgalieva, second Elena Nurgalieva, and the winner Ellie Greenwood. Nick Bester greeting his Nedbank athlete. He's a man who has very, very good results today. Top 2 in the men's race, a winner in the women's race, 4th place finish for Irina Antropova here, and she's looking a lot fresher than the Nurgalieva twins, who both collapsed. They're lying prone on the surface after completing their Comrades jaunt.
Well, it looks like that they were both sort of stretchered out of the finish area, which is something that we have never seen before, and we just wish that and hope that they recover nicely from the run, and it hasn't taken too much out of them.
This looks to be Caroline Vostman, I think it is. It is indeed Caroline Vostman, another one of the Nedbank athletes who's making her way into the stadium, or towards the stadium. She looks like she's the 5th placed female athlete at the moment, Helen.
She is the 5th place athlete, and she is a South African, so we are looking at our first South African home, yeah. And I think we had a discussion earlier about athletes that have made remarkable improvements and come back and, started off. I think the one athlete that couldn't sort of get to halfway, and he came in the top 20. Caroline, her first Comrades time in 2009 was 9:17. And here we've got her coming 5th with a time that's going to possibly be under 6:45. I'm not, be a couple of kilometres to the end, but well inside her personal best.
Well inside her personal best indeed. This looking to complete her 4th Comrades Marathon. She ran it in 2009, 2011 and 2012. And now the down run completed in what will certainly be her best time in the Comrades Marathon. While Caroline Vostman will be the first South African home, for a moment, the way athletes in the women's race seem to be falling down the field, it seemed Zola Budd would be South Africa's first women home, but her manager Ray de Vries has actually joined us in studio to watch her come home. But Ray, Zola was looking so good at one stage, but I think after Fields Hill things started to fall apart. What happened? Take us through what happened out on the course.
Well, I can tell you that the course conditions are amazing. It was 5 degrees at the start. The temperature gradient was dramatic. As we came to Fields Hill, there was like a huge heat box that hit us. And when Zola got to the bottom, she had a hypoglycemic moment, and then walked up Cowie's Hill and then got a colour back and started running again. So she's running on the road. She's lying 9th at the moment. And it's an unbelievable achievement if she can get in the top 10 today to get gold.
I think it would be a remarkable achievement indeed. Last year, though, or last attempt, she was looking to go under 8 hours, possibly claim silver at 7:30. It didn't happen. She finished in 8:05. But this year looks to be going better than expected, you might argue.
I think so. She had a very good 2 oceans, but I think that 11th place was probably the worst place in the whole field, and I think that really knocked her. So I think that she was really going for it today. She wanted to go, I know she wanted to go silver under 7:30, and she's going to be well within that.
So Zola, in terms of national pride, she's always been among the most celebrated of South African athletes, and certainly achieved so much on the international stage. As Caroline Wustman looks to be just a little awkward in the closing stages here.
Well, this is what makes Comrades interesting. It's not over till you cross that finish line, and there will be a few women not that far behind her, and if they're able to run and Caroline keeps walking, she may not be able to hold on to this 5th place.
Caroline Wustman currently in 5th position, but a slight incline just before you get to the final stretch leading into the stadium, and she's taking it easy going up the incline, and quite a bit of a walk in fact for Caroline Wustman. She's managed to pass the likes of Camille Heron and Joe Meek on her way towards the finish line, which is an impressive achievement in itself, but certainly she is making her way now nicely. Now that she's up and over the incline, looks to be back into her stride and heading towards the stadium to finish. Let's get back to Ray de Vries talking about Zola Budd. She's running for Hooters, but also running for something a little more personal, perhaps. Ray, take us through Zola's run, the yellow ribbon, and who she's running for.
Yeah, I think it's a wonderful gesture. You know, she, as you say, running for the Hooters Running Club, which has just been formed, but she wanted to do a real personal thing, and that was to dedicate her race to Pierre Corky, who's still being held hostage in Yemen. His wife Yolandi was released in January, but she just wanted to raise awareness. She didn't want any political statement whatsoever. It was just purely a gesture for a dear friend and a coach of hers who coached her in 1998. So yes, it went very well, and we saw so many people with yellow on their kit, also dedicating their race to Pierre Corky, and his wife Yolandi is busy watching this. So we really hope that this will do something for them.
So this is South Africa's Caroline Wustman, who is set to be the first South African home. Now, Camille Heron is falling down the route, we've heard, but it also seems that as much as we heard initially that Joe Meek might have been passed, that she might not have been passed by Caroline Wustman. But they're both in the closing stages, heading towards Kingsmead Stadium. It's going to be close to see which of the ladies finishes in 5th position here. But Wustman is looking strong enough now that she's over that final incline. The top 4, certainly Ellie Greenwood, Elena Nurgalieva, Olesia Nurgalieva and Irina Antropova are the top 4 in the women's race. The battle is on for 5th place. But of course, Caroline Wustman looking to be the first South African woman home. And she's pushing hard now in the final kilometres, closing towards the stadium.
Well, Joe Meek will certainly have the stamina, because she's just come off a multi-6-day event in Costa Rica through the rainforest. So she doesn't lack the ability to run distance. However, she may not have the speed, so it will be interesting just to see where she is lying. With 2 kilometres to go, we're not sure if she's between Caroline and the stadium and the finish line, or she is behind, and I'm sure we'll be picking up that fact for you shortly.
Well, 10 ladies have gone through the Mabel marker. There's a couple of South Africans as well squeezed in, including Martinique Potgieter, who runs for Petersburg Roadrunners, the same club, of course, as today's 5th place finisher in Rufus Porto. But in terms of the ladies' race, it's intriguing to see how the finishing positions are eventually concluded here in the closing stages of this race. There's just under 2 kilometres to go for Caroline Wusman. We're still waiting for news on Camille Heron and certainly Joe Meek. Frida Sodermark as well, another one of the Swedish athletes who was among those touted to perhaps go on and claim a gold medal in the Comrades Marathon. And Zola Budd, as we heard from her manager, Ray de Vries, running for a good cause, running for the newly formed Hooters Club, looking for a strong finish. She was hoping to go under 7:30, and I think she's going to be well within that, bar any incidents in the closing stages of this race. She crossed the Mabel marker in 6:21. So with 7 kilometres to go, she's got over an hour to do those final 7 kilometres if she is to go under the 7:30 mark, which she was hoping to achieve, and of course claim herself the silver medal. 6 hours to 7 hours 30, a silver medal. After that, a Bill Rowan medal for 7:30 to 9 hours. Then your bronze from 9 to 11, and the Vic Clapham medal if you finish in the final hour of the Comrades Marathon. And this is the Comrades Marathon of 2014. South African winner in the men's race, Bongmusa Mthembu. A British winner in the women's race in Ellie Greenwood. Well, we seem to have confirmation from out on the course, although we don't have footage to confirm it. From the spotters, seem to be hearing that Joe Meek is currently in 5th position and that Caroline Wusman has not managed to pass her. She's passed, however, Camille Heron on the route. But ultimately, Caroline Wusman seems to be in 6th position overall. So Joe Meek should be... Oh, this is Joe Meek now. Well, there's Joe Meek. So she's coming into the stadium now. She will be the 5th placed finisher, is Joe Meek. Another of the great British athletes. Another woman with the dream of winning the Comrades Marathon. And coming close, top 5 position again. Something to be very proud of indeed. And of course... there's the possibility of many more Comrades Marathons for Joe Meek.
Yeah, she certainly has the potential, and as I've just mentioned, strength is not one of her problems. She really does chase after these multi-stage races, 6-7 day events over some pretty horrific courses, and she's had quite a lot of success in these events in the last year, but she's sort of like almost just squeezing Comrades in the middle and hasn't specifically focused on this. And I think in a month's time she'll be off running another multi-day event. So one has to sort of ask yourself that when these athletes from overseas who come from this long-distance trail running background, if they were just to concentrate, like we saw Ellie Greenwood, how much they could possibly improve their results and challenge some of the other specialists, Comrade specialists.
I think that's it for many athletes, about simply improving on your previous performances. And this is going to be a good, strong finish for Joe Meek as she now heads into Kingsmead Stadium. This is a good 5th place finish for the British athlete. Having been won by British athletes, the women's race, they'll have 2 athletes inside the top 5. Your chance to win, you could win a Toyota Corolla Quest if you enter the word Toyota to 34068. That's 34068. You can enter the Toyota Amabidi winner car competition. The possibility of you driving away in a Toyota Corolla Quest is indeed likely. The Toyota athlete now making her way into the stadium. Joe Meek, Arno Malherbe. The women's race, what have you made of it? 2 great British athletes in the top 5. It looks like Caroline Wusman is going to be the first South African home in 6th position. But a strong presence from the British athletes and a good finish, breaking up that Russian domination today. Ellie Greenwood, a feather in her cap.
Twee Britse atlete in 'n Russiese toebroodjie, want is Ellie Greenwood eerste, Joe Meek 5de en 3 Russe tussen die twee van hulle. En natuurlik die Nurgalieva tweeling en Irina Antropova. Joe Meek wat baie goed eindig hier op die oomblik. Ons wag op die oomblik vir die eerste Suid-Afrikaner ook om in te kom, is Caroline Bosman wat daar baie goed hardloop. Sy was verlede jaar in nie verlede jaar, nie 2 jaar gelede liewers in die 15de plek. Sy het nie verlede jaar die Comrades hardloop nie. Dis Caroline Bosman, maar ons kyk nou na Joe Meek van Brittanje. En Brittanje wat baie goed doen hier in die vroue afdeling. Natuurlik Ellie Greenwood die wenner en Joe Meek hier wat sterk inkom vir 'n baie goeie 5de plek.
A very good 5th place finish indeed, finishing very strongly, saving a little energy, and how often we've seen that athletes that look to be struggling in the closing stages find that second wind when they find themselves running on the softer grass rather than the hard asphalt and tar. But a big smile on the face of Joe Meek. She looks fresh and strong, as Ellie Greenwood did when she crossed the finish line, completely unlike the Nurgalieva twins, who both collapsed, were both lying prone on this grass surface. And Helen, if you look back further in the race, Caroline Bosman looking strong to be the first South African woman home, but Zola Budd and indeed Ferda Sodermark is still hanging on for a gold medal position. It looks to be Zola Budd up to 8th position in the women's race, and hoping that she could somehow close out a sub 7:30 in fine style with a gold medal.
Well, as we wait for Caroline to come into the stadium finish, I think she's just such a remarkable example of somebody who started running 4 years ago and has just steadily improved. And I mean, if you look at her first, sort of noted 10-kilometer times, it was like 57 minutes. She's now running 38. And I just think that that can demonstrate that if you train properly, that many of these athletes who sort of start running and they run a 9-hour Comrades have got the ability, if they stick at it, in a couple of years' time to sort of come in the sub 7 hours. And I think she can sort of inspire a lot of other women to improve their performances.
And I'm just often wondering, I mean, Lindsay Wade did a talk a couple of years, well, more than a couple of years ago in 2006, just before her passing, where she was saying that athletes need to kind of decide what kind of athlete they are, whether they're a 10K runner, an ultra runner, and don't be too scared to start running these kind of ultra marathons very early. Bruce Fordyce is obviously in his 20s, winning quite a lot of them, and her thought was that your 5th Comrades tends to be your best one, or at least you build up to there. And that's kind of what Caroline Bosman's doing here.
Yeah, I think you've got to run for about 3 years before you start finding your place, and you'll start to realize I've actually got a bit of potential, and then you put your head down and you start doing slightly more specific training, and you start to see the results. And I would be quite convinced that Caroline has probably gone to the track. She started running a bit of cross country, all these things to improve her speed, and she's now getting the results in the longer distance.
Well, there's still time to enter the SMS competition for Mamabolo. The Toyota Corolla Crest will pull the draw later on this afternoon, so just a couple of hours left. So do it right now, and to enter that, you SMS the word Toyota to 24068, and you maybe have your name drawn out later this afternoon for that Toyota Quest. Do that right now. So right now we're looking down, and the crowd, and I must say I was down there just now, is really excited about these women coming in, and the competition in the women has been fierce and quite frightening, in fact, at certain levels. But Caroline Bosman now coming in for her maiden Comrades Marathon gold, and as we've said all the last 10-15 minutes, what an improvement. Remarkable from a runner that has been there and thereabouts, second, third in odd race here in Gauteng, but right now a gold medal in Comrades. That's brilliant.
Hierdie jaar 4de Comrades Marathon in 2009 in die afwedloop het sy 9 uur 17 minute gehardloop vir 'n bronsmedalje. In 2011 in die opwedloop 8 minute 33 en 2012 in die afwedloop 7 ure 16 minute en daar het sy 'n silwer medalje gekry. So sy het sowat 'n uur vinniger gehardloop met elke wedloop. Hier is nie heeltemal 'n uur vinniger nie, maar amper 'n halfuur vinniger as haar vorige beste tyd.
It really has been a remarkable Comrades Marathon each year in terms of the gold medals. It's been a roller coaster up and down, never quite know who's going to be there and who's not, and that is Caroline Bosman coming into the gold medal and the first South African home. Who would have thought going into this race that Caroline Bosman of Nedbank would be the first South African woman home?
I think she'll be very, very surprised herself, and I think that's the trick of Comrades. No one knows what's going to happen up front or behind, and you just get out there and run your own race, and you'll get a magnificent result like Caroline has, and she's going to be thrilled because, I mean, she has taken sort of nearly 25 minutes off her what she ran in the last down run, and I mean, that's outstanding.
Caroline Bosman wat hier in die 6de plek inkom, en wie het gedink sy gaan die eerste Suid-Afrikaanse vrou wees. Ons het almal gekyk na Sharnay Bosman en natuurlik Zola Budd ook, maar dis hier Caroline Bosman wat in die 6de plek eindig, die eerste Suid-Afrikaanse vrou oor die eindstreep, en baie gelukkige Nick Bester, weer een van sy netbankatlete wat baie goed gedoen het hier. En ons hoor Zola Budd is uit op die pad net buite die stadion, en ons kyk of ons haar kan optel. Daar is Zola Budd, en sy is ook op pad na die eindstreep toe.
Well, this is going to be a very, very popular athlete. Everybody knows her, everybody admires her. She doesn't have to win the races, but she just generates so much interest. Everybody will be thrilled to see her doing so well. And here she is, I think she turned 48 last Monday. So, I mean, this is an amazing performance as well.
Zola Budd Pieters net so buite die Kingsmead Sahara Cricket Stadion, en weer eens een van ons topatlete oor die jare, enigiets van 3000 meter waarmee sy begin het in die Olympiese Spele in 1984 natuurlik, na die baie bekende Olympiese Spele met haar en Mary Dekker-Slyne, en hier is sy nie meer oor 3000 meter nie, maar oor 89.28 kilometer, en sy is een van die topvroue in die wêreld oor hierdie afstand.
Well, Zola Budd Pieters is, well, she ran on the last time around about 8 hours. What's she going to do? A way bit better than that this year, possibly even an hour better, if not more than that. So I think this is a remarkable run by Zola. She's now well into her 40s and is likely, Helen, to be the top veteran.
Well, she is, yes. As I said, 48. I think she had a birthday last Monday, turned 48, and I just think I'm thrilled for her. Very, very happy, because I think that, you know, when she was young and at possibly the prime of her athletics career, she possibly didn't get the accolades in South Africa because she never ran here. And I think many, many people will be happy that she's been able to come back to an iconic race like the Comrades and get a gold medal.
Well, if you look at some of the personal bests of Zola over the years, I mean, she's run just a tad over 4 minutes for 1,500 meters, under 15 minutes for 5K, somewhere around about in the 31s, 10K on the road. But that was a long, long time ago. I mean, that's sort of 20, 25 years ago. So she's made this transition up to a classy ultramarathon run. It's completely amazing.
Well, Ian, when you think about it, the Olympic Games 1984, the famous Olympic Games, was 30 years ago, where Zola Budd was at the top of her game as a track athlete, and here she is as a road athlete, the 7th woman to finish the Comrades.
Well, I wonder what Mary Dekker-Slyne would think about this, because that 30 years ago, the two of them clashed famously on the track at the Los Angeles Olympic Games. 1984, I remember that day. We were doing commentary on the city to city on that day, and we were all dying to hear, and we heard, oh my goodness, there's been this disaster. But here she is 30 years later. She was 18 then, she's 48 now. What a career.
Oh, very much, and she is just so popular wherever you go, and if people know that you're involved with running, one of the first questions they will ask you is, do you know Zola? Or every race they think Zola's running. So I would think that she would be one of the most well-known athletes that exists in South Africa, and so many people will recognize her and be happy.
Well, definitief die mense wat die atleet ken, die skare wat hier so skree Zola, Zola, soos sy in die stadion inhardloop. Sy is so gewild onder hierdie skare, een van Suid-Afrika se ikoniese atlete, en hier kom sy in die 7de plek, net so onder 7 ure vir die Comrades Marathon.
11th place in this year's Old Mutual Two Oceans. Well, she's got 4 better, and that is her club, Hooters Athletic Club. It is a genuine club. It's got a big sponsor, and they're going around the country and they're starting a running club. So I think that's remarkable. Ray de Vries, the man behind that, who's been behind many innovative things over the years, says Ray. And I think this is a fantastic run by Zola. You know, I commentated on her when she was a little 15-year-old girl in Bloemfontein running the 800 meters, and look at it. That was about 1980. My goodness, look at her now.
And those guys flanking her will be absolutely thrilled to be able to say that they've run it across the finish line with Zola Budd, and that's one to write in their record books.
Well, it's Ken Mwape from Zambia holding her hand as she crosses the line, and it's a moment he'll remember for the rest of his life, I guess.
Well, 7 gold medals gone, still 3 to go. That's a solid, safe gold medal. Wasn't squeezing into 10th place at all. Well, that does look like position in number 8, Sodermark from Scandinavia, and she looks uncomfortable, but her number seems to have slipped a little bit, but well done to her. That looks like position in number 8. So we've got all sorts of countries. Got a Canadian stroke, a Scot in the lead, a couple of Russians, another Russian, Antropova, and South African, and Caroline Bosman, Zola Budd, and now the 8th woman home is all the way from, is that Sweden? Yes, it's Sweden.
Well, Frida comes off not a bad pedigree either. I mean, she has represented Sweden at the 2014, the European Athletic Champs. She recently ran a 2:43 marathon in Zurich, so she has a good racing background, but I think this distance is something a little bit new to her and not looking that comfortable running in here, but I don't know if she's grimacing with tears or with joy.
Well, the man with the cap there running next to Frida Sodermark is Cristiano Bulka from Brazil. So you've got a Brazilian there cheering a Swede across the line, and it just illustrates the true spirit of Comrades.
Nearly 2,000 international runners, and that is a record for the Comrades Marathon. And all week we've seen people from all over the world gathering, not only for this race, but also for the AIMS Congress, the 20th AIMS Congress that took place. Saw race directors from all over the world here in Durban. So a truly international event this year, both at the runner level and the administrative level.
Oh, she looks exhausted, but I think she'll be thrilled. I mean, a little bit of an unknown for her to come and take part in this. She's got a lot of experience on the track. She's run 3,000 meters, 10,000 meters, and some pretty big track meetings, and here she comes and runs the Comrades, and I'm sure she'll say there's been nothing quite like it.
Wel, die pyn en ook die genot op haar gesig, alles op dieselfde tyd hier aan die einde van die Comrades Marathon. Die volgende vrou wat nou hier gaan inkom, nummer 32448, is Martinique Potgieter van Pietersburg Roadrunners. Martinique Potgieter, spanmaat van Rufus Puto, sorry, jammer een. En die twee van hulle spanmaats wat hardloop, Rufus Puto natuurlik, wat 5de geëindig het in die manswedloop, en Martinique Potgieter wat hier gaan inkom in die 9de plek in die vrouewedloop.
Well, and she's wearing a yellow number, so it would look that she's going for her green number, her 10th Comrade, so she's going to be more than thrilled with this effort, because I don't think we've seen her in the golds before at Comrades.
We haven't, and she's just going in there in just under 7 hours. She'll probably finish in somewhere around about 7:02, so I would suspect that is her lifetime best. And absolute happiness. What a fantastic run by her. And the gold medals today, both the men and women, have been fascinating encounters, and we'll just wait to see if there are any more surprises down the line.
Yeah, it's been an interesting day, and it's always amazing when you see coming into the golds athletes. They've not come into the race as favourites. They're running for their local club. They're going to be the pride and joy of their town, and I think it just adds that interest, and it reminds that this race really is there for everybody.
Martinique Potgieter, hierdie is haar tweede Comrade. Sy het 1 medalje en dis 'n bronsmedalje van verlede jaar se wedloop. Sy het 162ste geëindig verlede jaar in die Comrades Marathon, tyd van 9 ure 33 minute, en hier kom sy in die 9de plek, amper 2,5 ure vinniger as haar opwedloop verlede jaar.
We'll bring in, and after that we'll have a chat with Zola Budd, 24 years of age, young runner, and 9:33 is a previous best time, no longer, just over 7 hours, a good solid silver by nearly half an hour. Fantastic run by her, all the way from Petersburg up in the Limpopo, Petersburg Running Club, up in the Limpopo province. So that's 2 golds for them. Fantastic.
Just a tad faster than the last time. 2 ure 33 minute vinniger as haar vorige wedloop vir Martinique Potgieter. Sy het 'n goue medalje om te voeg by haar brons van verlede jaar.
Well, the whole of South Africa is cheering this lady on. Zola Budd Petersen finished in 7th place. She's sitting down with Peter de Beely. Not surprising, and let's see what Zola has to say.
Okay, welcome back home. Zola, welcome back home.
Thank you so much.
The race today, you managed to get the top 10, and that's why it's a great deal for you.
Ever since I was a little girl and I watched Comrades, I always dreamt of coming in and getting a rose. So today was a dream come true. And if it wasn't for the support of my family and the crowd, I went through a bad patch in the middle, and I managed to hang in there and come back. And the runners along the road supported me so much, and I just want to thank them for their support. Otherwise, I don't think I would have come in the top 10 today.
And the preparation, where was it all done?
Yes, my preparation, I did all in the US, and everything went well up to the race. So I'm really pleased with today, but it was probably the hardest race of my life.
And you're wearing a yellow ribbon. Can you tell us about it?
Yes, that's why I realized I had to hang in there, because I was running for Pierre today. Pierre Corky is a friend of mine, and he was captured more than a year ago, and he's still held by Al-Qaeda. And I was wearing the yellow ribbon, and I dedicated my race to him today in the hope that we can have him home quite soon.
And going back to the race, how was the course for you?
The course was tough. I think I started out too quickly, and then I paid for it in the middle, but the support was amazing in the middle when I went through some bad patches and I had to walk. And then I managed to hang in there and pull through, and the athletes really supported me at the end and ran with me and helped me through the last 10Ks, which was amazing.
And from here, where to?
I think I'm going to take a well-deserved rest from running, and then I'm going to decide what my future plans are. But I'm really proud, and I just want to thank everybody for their support.
Thank you very much, Zola.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
That's Zola Budd, and then it's off back to our commentary team.
As we join Julani Basson getting another gold medal, 10th place. She's got 1 or 2 goals before, but Julani Basson of Toyota rounding out the top 10. Another gold medal for South Africa. But I must say that Zola Budd is an absolute iconic figure in South African athletics. Great for the sport, great for Comrades, and really wonderful stuff. But take nothing away from Julani Basson, who had another very solid run.
Yes, it's Julani's third gold medal, and quite a consistent performer. And a good time as well, so she'll be very happy with that performance.
Well, she's definitely consistent. 10th this year, 10th last year, and 10th the year before. Haar 3 goue medaljes in die laaste 3 jaar vir Julani Basson, al 3 in die 10de plek. Maar weer eens baie goeie wedloop vir Julani Basson. Haar beste tyd voor hierdie wedloop was net so oor die 7 ure, so 'n bietjie stadiger as wat sy 2 jaar gelede gehardloop het, maar definitief 'n baie konstante atleet. En nog 'n Toyota atleet wat hier gaan klaarmaak. Lyk my die eerste atleet wat in die 11de posisie gaan wees. En moet seker maak wie daar
Well, the Toyota Club doing well today. A couple of male golds and now a couple of lady golds. But remember that you can win a Toyota Corolla Quest this afternoon if you are lucky enough when you enter the SMS competition. Remember, all the money goes to the Comrades Mamabolo charities, all 6 of them. So SMS that Toyota off to that number you saw on the screen. But here comes our next lady finisher.
Salome Cooper daar van Toyota wat klaarmaak in die 11de posisie. En Salome Cooper wat baie goed gehardloop het. Sy was in die 12de plek op Meybel, so 7 kilometer gelede. Maar dit lyk my al die atlete wat vir Camille Herren verbygesteek het. En Salome Cooper van die Toyota Club wat hier gaan klaarmaak in die 11de posisie.
She's had two silvers in her other races, and I think she's just missed out on her gold, but still an excellent performance.
Yeah, based in Gauteng, she runs a lot of the races there. Races quite sparingly, but another athlete that focuses pretty much entirely on the Comrades Marathon. And as we said, 3 consecutive 10th places, or 2 consecutive 10th places the previous 2 years. So well done to Salome Cooper.
Wel, dit was Julani Basson natuurlik met die 10de plekke 1. Salome Cooper was in 2011 12de, 2012 12de verlede jaar nie gehardloop het nie, en hier doen sy 1 beter. Sy is in die 11de posisie op die Comrades.
Well, I think this is the Toyota's 4th lady coming through, so that puts them in a good position to take the team prize.
Big money for the team prizes here, and very hotly contested competitions. The team prizes are for basically for South African local runners, but we now have another fast finisher coming in.
Sofia Sundberg van Swede, wat ook hardloop in die netbankklere. Sy kom hier in die 13de posisie, Sofia Sundberg. En die atlete, die vroue ten minste, behalwe vir die top 5, wat redelik hulle posisies gehou het hier oor die laaste 7 of 8 kilometer.
Yeah, Sophia's run some good 100-kilometer races. She's a Swedish lady just finishing now. She's done those in 7:53, and I think she'll be pretty chuffed with this Comrades performance. Also a novice, and I think come out, knows what it's about, and I'm sure we'll have her out here again.
So if you just joined us, the winner of the men's race today was Bongmusa Mthembu, 5:28.34, after a fantastic run. And in the women's race, it was Ellie Greenwood from Canada that took the laurels ahead of the Medalists sisters in the women's race. And Shone Bosman, beg your pardon, had to withdraw from the race, so that was a bit disappointing. So the first South African home in the women's race was Caroline Vorsman.
In picture there is Fikile Mbutuma from Nedbank running, and she's going to come in here. It's like 14th, is that, Helen?
Yeah, and she's had a nice steady build-up. She's looking quite comfortable. I've seen some of her race results. She's run a few races locally and has shown that she'd come into this Comrades with good form, and I think she's just proved that.
7.5 hours is a big barrier for all the runners, but particularly for the ladies. And a silver medal in Comrades for a woman is a major achievement. It really is, and it normally puts you in the top 20-25 runners altogether on the down run.
Hierdie gaan ook by verre Fikile Mbutuma se beste tyd in die Comrades wees. Sy was verlede jaar in die opwedloop in die 16de posisie en haar beste tyd van 7:38. Haar beste tyd op die afwedloop was in 2010 toe sy 29ste geëindig het met 'n 7:44. So hier weer aansienlik vinniger, nog 'n atleet wat beter en beter doen elke jaar.
So plenty of women home in the silver medal category now, plenty of men as well. And we end at still about, what's it now, 7 hours and 8 minutes. So we have 22 minutes to go now before that silver medal cutoff. Silver medal pace is around about 5 minutes a kilometre. So you have to go through every 10 Ks in under 50 minutes, or give or take, to get that silver medal. So Fikile Mbutuma coming now in...
Dis haar eerste silvermedalje. Sy het 6 Bill Rowan medaljes, 1 brons. Hier haar eerste silvermedalje, 7 ure is 8 minute en dit verbeter haar beste tyd op die afwedloop met sowat 30 minute. So liewers met haar beste tyd op die opwedloop wat hierdie jaar was 7:38. Hierdie keer 7 ure 8 minute en sowat 30 minute vinniger as haar beste vorige tyd op die Comrades marathon.
Well, the runner we've just seen across the finish line also is just very consistent in that she hasn't got that huge amount of pace and just starts and keeps running and holds on to the time.
8 minutes. Karen Marshall finishing
in the silver medal position. And as we saw the top 10 men going through, Bongmusa Mthembu, the man that took the win today for Nedbank and KwaZulu-Natal and South Africa. And for the first time in ever so long, we'll need to check that, the first 3 men across the line were all from South Africa.
Well, here these people are streaming in for comfortable silvers, and they all look in good shape. And I believe it is pretty warm out there, so yeah, it's a bit overcast and it's looking quite nice out there. So a lot of people streaming in. Last year in the women's race, we had sort of 12 silvers, and I think this year we're going to get quite a few more than that, which is a good sign.
In beeld daar is Tina Major van Australië. Sy gaan die tweede vrou oor die lyn wees oor 40 na Zola Budd Pieterse. En Tina Major ook wat baie goed hier eindig. Baie warm op die oomblik vir die atlete, 31 grade Celsius hier in Durban. So hulle voel die hitte na 89 km.
It's going to be interesting to see how the folks further back in the field cope with the heat, because the people that are running sort of 10, 11, 12 hours are going to get very, very hot, because the temperature over 31, and it will stay there probably till 5 or 6 o'clock this evening, as it does in Durban. Quite a lot of humidity. I was down on the finish line, and it really is humid, and everybody is sweating pretty strongly. Well, Peter Tabile is down on the finish line with the lady who finished in 6th position.
Thank you very much, Ian. I'm here with Caroline Vorsman. Like you've said, you got position 6. Caroline, your preparation, my dear, got position 6, and how do you feel about it?
I actually really struggled today. I had an injury for the last 5 weeks, and I just prayed to God to please just help me through the race, and He did. He really blessed me. I didn't feel the injury at all while I was running, but I think I lost a little bit of fitness, so I really struggled to push through, but mentally I think I was quite strong, so very happy with how the race went today.
Your fourth marathon, how did you find the course?
How did I find what, sorry?
How did you find the route?
Yeah, it's the fourth time I'm doing it. It's the third time on the down run, so I think I know the route quite well. I was going at a much higher intensity today, so I struggled more than previously, but yeah, it got a bit hot as well today, but it was a good run.
Where from here now after the Comrades?
Now I'm going to just rest for the next 3 weeks. I think I'm going to put my feet up and just recover properly from the injury. And then I'm going to just see what's on the calendar and see what goal I'm going to focus on next.
Thank you very much, Caroline, and good luck.
Great, thank you so much.
And it's back to the commentary team, Ian and the team.
Tina Major finishing for Australia. Quite a solid mix of international runners-up in the silver medal category. That's 7:12, and still 18 minutes or so to go. And that's Rihanna van Niekerk, who's got gold before now. And Rihanna has had all sorts of injury problems over the last few years. But I must say, I'm really chuffed to see Rihanna back into the silver medal category. She's got gold before now, but I think that after all those injury problems, I would think, Helen, that she'd be really happy to get another silver medal.
She will, because I think when one has the talent and the potential that Rihanna has had, and just gets fit, has a setback, and to push through and actually just to finish, I think she'll be very thrilled. And at one stage she was in the top 10 of the ladies. I had feedback today, so she's battled a little bit, she's hung in there, and doesn't look that comfortable, but I take my hat off her to her for just pushing through and getting another medal.
She's running for the Boxer Club. Those are the black, sort of with the red and yellow stripes, Boxer. Boxer is very active here in KwaZulu-Natal, sponsoring a lot, particularly women athletes. But they venture further afield for the likes of Rihanna. And here she is running a solid silver medal for them in 7:13. And I must say I'm very chuffed to see Rihanna back in the silver medals.
16de plek hier vir Rihanna van Niekerk, so behalwe vir die 10 goue medaillewenners reeds 6 vrouens wat silwer medaljes hier gaan optel. En het lyk of Tina Major wat sopas klaar gemaak het vir Rihanna van Niekerk verbygevat het in die laaste 7 kilometer. Dit sien Rihanna sukkel so 'n bietjie daar, maar nog steeds 'n baie goeie wedloop deur haar.
We're going to have a lot of women's silvers today, Helen. I think, what have we got so far? Yeah, and we could get into the high 20s perhaps if we get a few women to pack in now.
It's quite remarkable if we reflect on the leaders race and how that chopped and changed. We saw all the walking, and we've had the people, Shanae Bosman, she was a favourite, she's pulled out of the race, and yet there's so many other women. There's women who we don't really know that well that are running, regular club runners, and they're coming through and they're picking up silvers, and that really is a very, very good performance. To get a silver, you should be comfortably running around 3 hours for a marathon, and that sort of looks good for South African running.
Well, Rihanna's got the pedigree, she's run close to 240. I don't think she's broken 240 for the standard marathon, but it's in the low 240, so she's got the pedigree, but I just, wobbly, very, very tired. Take a quiet sit down, and who can blame her?
Well, I think it must be hot out there, because we've seen quite a few people get to that finish line and just drop to their knees.
When I was down at the finish line, the Galliated sisters were both in some distress when they finished and couldn't be interviewed at all, which is a first for them. And they ended up being hauled off to the medical tent. There's Leslie Train, competes all over Gauteng very, very often. Leslie Train running for Toyota. She used to run for Boksburg for many years now. Moved across to the Toyota Club. Leslie Train, she got a gold before now, didn't she, Helen?
Yes, she has. She's a consistent runner. She's sort of we see her every year coming in, she's had quite a few silvers, and just dependable.
Leslie train met 13 medaljes tot haar naam. Rowan verlede jaar 'n hele klomp silvers, ook 'n paar goues in 2008 en 2009 en hier tel sy weer nog 'n silwer medalje op.
Well, down on the finish line, Peter de Biele.
Thank you, Ian. I'm here with
Sophia Sandberg.
Thank you very much, Ian. I'm here with Frida. She's from Sweden, and was making her debut today, and she managed to get position 8, and she will tell us her feeling about that.
Well, it's amazing. It's the race of my life. I'm so happy, but I'm cramping, and the race was, as I said, amazing. Yeah.
Where did you do your preparation?
Back home, and also in Kenya during January, and then I went to Portugal in March 1 week. But otherwise, I train a lot back home, and I did some heel works.
But today you're cramping.
Yeah, I know. It was quite hard. I did some running downhills back home, but I should have been doing more.
What about this course? How did you find it?
It was easy until when it was 20 k's left. Then it started getting hard, and especially when I had 7 k's left, I started cramping, and it was so hard. But I made it.
I've asked everybody else this question. And from here, where do you go?
Tonight?
Not tonight. After the marathon itself, are you still going to run other races?
Well, I will do a 24-hour time run in July in Sweden.
That's your next race?
Yeah, and then in August we have this ultra marathon in 9 k's in the forest. It's going to be great. It's the same course as the ski Vasaloppet, very, very famous. And that's the first year, and I'm going to participate. And I hope that many others from all over the world will come the 23rd of August.
Frida from Sweden making her debut in a marathon. Thank you very much, Frida.
Thank you.
And it's over to our commentary team.
Well, thank you, Peter de Biele, doing his sterling job down on the finish line there. And Leslie Train just finished a while back. She used to run for Boksburg, and there's a lady from the Boksburg Club, the famous blue and white hoops of the East Rand Club, coming down the Toyota Mile. So yet another female silver medal is on the cards there. So let's look at the top 10 men across the line. Earlier on today, a big, very exciting race. Bongmusa Mthembu won it in 5:28.34. Ludwig Mamabolo, the defending downrun champion, was second. Gift Kalehe from Samankor, third in 5:34. The first 3 South Africans. Then we had Zimbabwean Stephen Mozingi, 3 times winner, another gold medal for him. Rufus Poto and Sendiz Kinkiz, 2 more South Africans. Jonas Budd from Sweden picking up another gold medal. Makwala Kwala, another South African, finishing in 8th. Prodigal Kamalo Zim in 9th. And Lachudi Makafani from South Africa finishing in 5:40. In the women's race, Ellie Greenwood took a fantastic victory by 5 minutes. Her first win, Elena Negalieva and Olesia in second and third, 6:23, 6:24. Then Russian Irina Antropova picked up another gold medal. Joe Meek from Great Britain surged through into 5th. Then we had Caroline Vorsman, the top South African. Zola Budd, the first over 40 woman home in 6:55. Sodermark from Sweden, and 2 more South Africans, Martinique Portrita and Jelani Besson.
CETA, Sustainable People Development for Prosperity through partnerships with business, communities, and government. As we raise the skills of South Africans, we move to a more prosperous tomorrow. For over 12 years, CETA has contributed to raising skills in the tourism and travel, hospitality, conservation, sports, recreation and fitness, arts and culture and heritage, and gaming lotteries sector through the partnership with business, communities and government. KETHSITA, Sustainable People Development for Prosperity.
You know the moment. It comes when it wants, out of nowhere. When quit and keep going sit neck and neck. So you choose, and success conquers failure. Mind passes body. Finished becomes finish. This is the moment. It's why you run.
Get the new Corolla Quest 1.6 from only 174,900.
Coverage continues of the Comrades Marathon of 2014 and sterling races, both the men's and women's races, and we've seen some wonderful finishing and certainly a great shuffle around the leaderboard. One of the Strand athletes coming home. The cameraman just getting a lot of the athletes that are finishing the race to try to raise their arms in celebration as they near the stadium for the finish line, where they'll cross shortly. Onto the grass they come and then across the finish line. So approaching now the 7 hour 30 mark in this race, but a little while ago there was the halfway cut-off at Drummond. Let's go back and relive some of that action.
7 minutes, they say, 7 minutes left.
Out of line, and that's it. All the runners behind us now will not be going through to the finish line. And of course, we just wanted to see if we can jump over and speak to Jimmy, who is the last guy who just could not make it here. And this is Jimmy, who's done it. Jimmy, how's it, Jim? Unfortunate for you, you've done this 10 times before. What happened today?
I don't know.
You must be disappointed though, particularly because you have a lot of experience. You've done this 10 times before, Jimmy.
Yes. I'm very disappointed. The fact that I was just the second but that's not the way to go. I should have passed long ago. It only means today I couldn't make it.
Well, tough luck for today. And then we've got another lady who just missed it here. We're just going to talk to her. If we can just have a quick word with you. She's still catching her breath, but of course this is how it's happening here at the cut-off line. We just missed it. If we can have a chat with you. Quite unfortunate. How do you feel? You just missed it by a few seconds.
It was downhill. The rest of it is downhill, so I thought I'd easily make that up.
Is there a point where you felt that you were struggling?
That's rude.
And of course, I mean, just troubling to deal with the emotions there. This is how it is here at the cut-off line. So all the guys that are just behind me, you can see a number of them there. They just could not make it. We spoke to Jimmy. He was actually the one who missed it by a second. There's a lady who just managed to squeeze in through here at Drummond. So the group that has passed through are the ones that are still eligible to finish this 2014 Comrades Marathon.
Thank you, Quinn Mamabolo down at Drummond for the cut-off a short while ago. We've got the silver medal cut-off coming up momentarily, and I think Bruce Fordyce, this is a good opportunity to bring you in. You missed the silver cut-off by, was it 2-3 years ago? You missed it by a couple of seconds, didn't you?
Yes, don't remind me.
Sorry, it was a soft emotional
painful
point.
memory of fighting for the whole of the second half. It was the up run 3 years ago, and unfortunately I was always on the cusp of success or failure, so I couldn't let it go. because there's a point where you can say, okay, I'm not going to make it, so I can just relax and finish. But I was always in with a chance, and I drove myself the whole way. I flogged myself, I can tell you, and the gun smoke was hanging in the air. I heard it go off, I heard the crowd groan, and I breathed in the gun smoke. That's how close I was. 21 seconds. Yeah, sad memory.
A horrid feeling. I'm sorry I had to make you relive that, but there are a few runners who might be reliving memories of their own in the days and years ahead, of course, with the silver cutoff coming in now, less than 4 minutes' time. But in terms of the cutoffs, you've got to feel for a couple of the athletes as well who've done that race up to Drummond. Well, we're starting to see some of the costumes coming in, and this is an interesting wig being worn, some pink hair. Willie, were you a fan of any of the costumes? Did you stay around and watch some of them after your races?
Yeah, definitely. No, that is so excited, because some of these athletes, they've been running. Most of them, they've been running from the morning, and it's been a long day for them they're still on the road. Siyabona ngempela ukuthi ke insizwa lapha nazisekhona ngempela ezigijimayo lapha ke angisho umbuke lapha ekhaya ukuthi ke hlala ubuke ngoba kusekuningi excitement azoba khona. Siyabona ezinye insizwa lapha na zizofinisha lapha zijabule ngempela ngoba phela ukuqeda le race akusho ukuthi kufanele uwine ukuze ube hero, but to finish the Comrades marathon it doesn't mean that you have to be hero, but ukuqeda ukuthola nale medali kusho emini ku athletes ngoba phela kuthatha isikhathi eside ngempela ukutraina umjaho ufana lona. Ngiyazi ukuthi nani babuke lapha emakhaya niyafisa ngelinye ilanga nize nizogijima umjaho ufana nalona. Ngiya invite ukuthi uzani lo mjaho umnandi njengobona nje insizwa ziyadlala lana umdlalo ngempela lona omnandi.
Well, the Brazilian flag coming home, back to one of the athletes, no doubt running with pride for his country, Brazil, which in just a handful of days will host the 2014 FIFA World Cup. 11 days to go ahead of the start of that tournament, June the 12th up to July the 13th. Brazil and Croatia, the first countries to meet in the 2014 FIFA World Cup. Of course, you go back 10 years, and South Africa was going through the emotions and build up to that race. And Bruce, if I'm not mistaken, that's the reason we had two runs going in the same direction.
4 years ago.
4 years
ago.
Yes,
4 years ago, we had two down runs to celebrate the 2010 World Cup. But going back to these silver medalists, these are still fine athletes. This is 5:15 a kilometer for 90 Ks, no breaks, no rest, no recovery whatsoever. I said it earlier this morning, teasing other sports. We don't have half time. We don't have substitutions. And these people have run that pace the whole way. They've tried not to walk. They probably have had to walk a little bit on some of those steeper hills. But a 7:30 a silver medal is a very, very good athlete.
Certainly is a great deal of excitement for some of the people who are crossing the finish line just before the silver medal cut-off, colours of Westville. And the Bidvest Running Club as well. Ephraim Yende coming home with a minute to spare.
And you get an idea of how good they are because you can see their batch numbers. These are B batch runners, so right up front, they started right up front. There's some A batch runners coming in. You don't win silver if you're not A or B batch, or unless you're exceptionally talented, or you con the organisers and started at the back. But why would you do that? Here we go.
Well, the countdown has begun inside the stadium. Banners for individuals from their family members. These are the men, 30 seconds to go. These are some of the runners who are crossing the finish line and desperate to get over. Some of them sprinting now down the back straight. You can't necessarily see it in this final stretch, but a few that are yet to round the corner that may very well not make this cut-off, disappointingly. There's a stream of athletes who are trying to sprint this final distance in.
Oh, no.
Well, you can hear the countdowns, Bruce.
That was me coming round the corner 3 years ago. and there you go. And the same rude welcome when they push you aside, and you get the next medal on the list, which is the Bill Rowan. So that cut-off will go several times today at the various cut-off points along the route, and it will also go off later on for the Bill Rowan medal.
So the Bill Rowan medal will be at 9 hours.
9 hours, then the 11-hour medal, 12 hour before the bronze to Vic Clapham, and then the most dramatic of them all, the 12-hour cut-off where you get no medal if you miss that gun.
Well, that has got to be the biggest disappointment of them all. Those who've made it up to Drummond, we've seen the cut-off there. Some runners that will no longer be allowed to compete. This Polokwane athlete, well, it's taken its toll. He's feeling it now. He's striding across the finish line, but no doubt disappointed that he's missed out on claiming a silver medal. It's so close, it's so far. Ultimately, though, he's completed this great race, this wonderful event of human endurance.
Siyabona ngempela ka insizwa laphana ziyafinisha. Siyabona nenye insizwa laphana elatena egijimela ke iPhuma Athletic Club kuyona lapha kwaZulu Natal izofinisha lapha. Siyabona ngempela ukuthi ke insizwa seziya ngokubaningi lana ziyafinisha. Siyabona uThamsanqa lapha Mfeka naye eza ethi hayi nami ngifuna ukuthi ngiyifinishe le race. Uyimise kancane nje ke ilento athole igold ngeminute nama second ambalwa engicama ukuthi ngunyaka ozayo uzozamthi aphakamisa amasokisi ukuze akwazi ukuyiwina ayithole le medali. Nandi enye insizwa laphana egijimela iBedvets nayo idayi nakanjani ku2014 Comrades Marathon ngizayiqeda. Ngawusho lapha bakha ukuthi ke insizwa ngempela kunzima ngempela singasho ukuthi lensizwa lezi ezifinisha manje yizo nje bezigijimela nazo gijima ngendlela okusemandleni azo. Suke khona ke eMaritzburg lezi kusenje kunzima ngempela. Siyabona ukuthi insizwa ziya ngokubaningi manje nasabona abanye bephetha manje aqamba belala phansi, abanye bayawalka ngazo zonke into ziyenzeka nje. Siyabona nje ukuthi hayi nandi enye insizwa iwalka laphana, kodwa ke akusekuthi ukuthi ifikele finish na ithi kodwa ibheka isikhathi ukuthi hayi no, I'm going to finish the race.
These runners in the final stages of this dramatic 89.28 kilometre challenge from Pietermaritzburg to Durban. There's the emotional turmoil of some of these athletes they go through. Such contrasting emotions come the end of this race for any of the athletes across the line. Some with joy and jubilation, others disappointment necessarily, but for some it's a very personal thing. It's simply finishing the race. For others it's about making a specific time or claiming a specific medal or beating a specific person. Everybody does this for a different reason, but ultimately it's something that nobody can take away from any of these finishers. Tremendous achievement.
And these runners will all have been hoping to get a silver medal. They would have been on schedule for most of the day and then slowly lost it towards the end. So what they will get now is they will receive a Bill Rowan medal when they cross the line, and that Bill Rowan medal is handed out for the next hour and a half. And the Bill Rowan medal is named after the first winner of the Comrades Marathon, Bill Rowan, back in 1921. Half silver, half bronze. A fabulous medal to get, but if you were trying to get silver, it's not quite silver.
Siyabona ngempela ukuthi ke insizwa ziyejabula lapha zifinishile. Kanti isikhathi sebesigijime laphana ilebesuke ngo5:30 laphana ke eMgungundlovu eMaritzburg, belibhekise khona lapha eMdubane eThekwini. Sebegijime 7 hours 33. Insizwa ziselo zikhona nje zisagijima. Yabona enye insizwa gijimela laphana ke team yamaphoyisa laphana izofinisha na umbuyiselwa Buthelezi naye uthi hayi ngiyiqedile iComrades Marathon ya 2014. Zikhathele lensizwa ziyazibona ukuthi inyawo zisaphakama nje naphela kade uqale begijima. Ezinye zilambile. Siyabona nasemgaqweni ukuthi ene azisokuthi qwa abasasondelene kakhulu, kodwa ke basekude ukuqeda phela nje basela istudio basiningi abantu abaseza, abanye baphula out, abanye sebeyawalka bazixoxela nje, kodwa ke sizobona emva kwesikhathi ukuthi ne bangakhi abantu abaqedile ngoba sizilithi cha izinga beliphezulu impela nabantu abagijimile bebaningi abantu abebekhona namhlanje lapha bezogijima. Nandi ke enye insizwa laphana ke nayo yegijimela iKhelisi ithi hayi nakanjani ngizafika lapha kufinish ize isikhathi ke su 7 hours 35 minutes ke okuyisikhathi esihle kakhulu ngempela. Uyayibona ithokozile ngoba uthi hayi ngiqedile. Enye insizwa ithi qeda kithi hayi next year I'm coming back again.
He's certainly looking for a silver medal next year. Missed it by 5 minutes, this athlete, but you might have caught a glimpse of a car somehow swerving into a barrier. I think it was our cameras at Westville. It might have been just trying to look up exactly where it was out in the course, but just trying to look back at some of the runners and various other sections of this nearly 90-kilometer course, and a car somehow just swerving out of control. We caught it a moment ago. But the good news is, of course, despite the fright that some of the spectators for the Comrades Marathon got, the car doors opened, so we hope that the occupants of the car are fine. Ultimately, though, a bit of a shock for all and sundry, and that happened just a moment ago. So we talk about action out on the course, but this is the strangest of situations. A car going into the barrier. I think this is Westville.
This is Huntley's Hill. Yes, about 12 or 13 Ks to go. Westville.
So the drama unfolds, but continues for some who are not necessarily runners of this 2014 Comrades Marathon. If you are just tuning in, the race today won a little earlier by South Africa's Bongmusa Mthembu, a good 5:28.34. And for the women's race, Ellie Greenwood having broken up the Russian domination with a good victory, 6 hours 18:15. Not the fastest time, but she did enough to take care of the Nurgalieva twins, Elena and Olesia, who finished in second and third, respectively. Again, heading towards the finish line here. A few athletes coming home. Big smiles on some of the faces. There's confirmation then of the results. Top 10 in the men. Bongmusa Mthembu and Ludwig Mamabolo, both from the Nedbank running team, finishing ahead of Samanko's Gift Kelehe, Stephen Mujingi and Rufus Porto, rounding out the top 5. Medis Nkize, Jonas Budd, the Swedish athlete who was much favoured. Manoko Mkwala coming in 8th position. Prodigal Kumalo finishing in 9th, and then Laturi Makufane rounding out the top 10. While in the women's race, a good finish, a strong finish as well for the British athletes and Ellie Greenwood and Joe Meek, who both finished in the top 5. Greenwood winning, Joe Meek 5th, and 3 Russian athletes squeezed in between. The Nurgalieva twins, Elena and Olesia, and Irina Antropova finishing in 4th position overall. The 6th person home was the first South African home in Caroline Wustman. Zola Budd, Petersen finishing in 7th position. The Swedish athlete Frida Schodemark finishing in 8th. Martinique Potgieter and Yulani Basson of South Africa rounding out the top 10.